blah, blah. Renars podcast.
We have Ondrey Moscow in the house, all the way from Moscow. Here he is, chilling with us. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Great. Amazing.
Amazing. Thanks for coming over, man.
Thanks for inviting me.
How was your day so far?
Short and sweaty.
And sweaty, what did you do?
I get sweaty as soon as I leave my house.
Right, because we are not in Bali.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Bali. It's fucking hot all the time. So yeah.
My legs are not in the shot, right?
Could be.
Right, I hope no.
I have a CCTV camera from different angle.
Oh, are you recording? It's my first time filming.
Okay, so what's going on? What is this on the table? What do we have here?
That's gifts for you from China. I spent my last 3 months in China. So this is chicken fingers.
Nice. Did you spend them in a camp where you had to like do hard labor?
Yeah, because I am...
Watch out, what are you saying? Watch out,
motherfucker. No, I was a free man in China.
You were?
Shenzhen and Shanghai. Mostly these two. But also a few other cities, just a couple days here and there.
Okay. So what is this? It's chicken leg, basically?
This is chicken toes. This is dry beef. One is extremely spicy and another one is, they call it anal explosion spicy. Sounded like a joke, but it's not. Like,
first ovation. It's not a laugh. It's just ovation.
Okay.
For the anal explosion.
And this is dry pork. So this is dry beef. This is dry pork. This is chicken fingers, and this is world famous Chinese chocolate.
World famous Chinese chocolate. Never hear about world famous Chinese chocolate. Sense.
I think package looks kind of Bali style, kind of ubud a bit, but it's Chinese chocolate.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I think buddy. Pink should fit here well.
Thanks a lot. I don't have much for you. I gave you some dry nuts earlier. That's all we got.
Yeah, your nuts were pretty dry. Too much baby powder, I guess.
No, they were in the package the whole 10, 20 years. Okay, let's talk about some cool stuff. So you're from Russia, right? You're from Moscow.
Yes.
And I don't know, some listeners know, they don't know, I speak Russian as well. So eventually maybe we can have a little Russian conversation.
Yes.
And you've been coming to Bali, but no, you moved to Bali pretty much straight away. You're not like you going back and forth.
Yeah, I moved to Bali in 2020. But then half year ago, I kind of moved out.
Right.
I moved to Malaysia, but next week I'm going to Malaysia and packing my stuff and moving somewhere else.
Right, and you don't even know where?
I'm going to China again because January there is a lot of shows, like ticketed shows, and February I get invited to do a few shows in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So January I will be in my Chinese hometown, the place where I lived before COVID for 3 years. It's Shenzhen. And then February, which is Chinese New Year, so it's a lot of people coming back to Shanghai, and people from Shanghai are cool. And a few of my friends are coming to Shanghai just for vacation or something. I'm trying to make people go there at the same time.
Right. So now we need to clear it out. What exactly are you talking about? We're talking about shows, comedy shows.
Comedy.
So Ondrey Moscow, that's his stage name, is a comedian.
Yeah.
And that's how we met. We met doing comedy, again, about almost 4 years ago now. It feels like it. This is my 4th time. Every time I come, it's just like for half a year, whatever. I think it's 4th year.
Since 2.5.
2.5?
2.5, yeah.
Really?
3 years ago, I moved to Bali, and we met not straight away, but a bit later. A bit. Yeah. I remember the first day when I saw you.
When you laid your eyes on me.
Yeah.
Who's that weirdo?
I wish it was my hands, but...
Oh, no.
So it's... you were the guy from the audience...
Oh, right.
Who participated in little activity and I think won some little prize or something.
Yeah, and I did. The reason I won it because I spoke in Russian, and there was like 95% of audience was Russians.
Yeah. During COVID, a lot of Russians in Bali, and you did some joke in like half English, half Russian, and everyone loved it, and you won the prize.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, these guys should be a comedian too.
Oh, just for like being 2 minutes on the stage. But no, I mean, like I fell in love pretty much straight away, or at least like I definitely knew I want to try and see what's going on. And community was amazing. saying the past tense. I mean, still good. But yeah, it was great. So comedy, why did you start getting into it? So before that was improv more, or it was comedy straight away?
It was hosting.
Oh,
actually,
like
originally, I was emceeing like extreme sport events
right.
since 2012.
Fuck, I didn't know that about you. I mean, like, I know that you're doing extreme sports, the rollerblades and all the tricks and stuff. But this is the thing, I used to MC events as well. That's how I started my career with getting on the stage.
Yeah, right. With this backstage, you don't really, you stop caring too much.
Yeah.
For people who never done anything on the stage and then they have to perform alone with a monologue, that's a bit scary. But if you've done something in front of more than a few people, not just like toasting on like wedding or something bigger, like 100 people, then after that, you don't really care.
No. Like in my case, it was like also because you're so used to improvising. So if shit goes down, you always can kind of figure out what to say, just like, oh, whatever. Like you can do crowd work and jump into that.
Right.
So, and you are really good in crowd work. And that experience comes from doing emceeing events, and that's where you get your confidence. Yeah.
So I hosted for few years. It was mostly extreme events, then a few weddings. Fuck, my leg is cramping. Shit. Fuck.
We will back. We get back after
commercial.
This commercial.
What helped is I hosted extreme events, then I hosted weddings of my friends. In both of cases, you don't have too much responsibility. It's not like you're hosting like an opening of your university or some big business event or something. It's not like you have to keep your face straight and stuff like that. Both extreme sports and weddings, they were really forgiving because it's all my friends and I can talk to them very like
freely
and flowy, and I know something about people there, so I don't need to like memorize like 100 names like some people do before weddings or in some official events. I already know people. I'm like, hey, you as usually so ugly, like and then I would roast myself as well. And then if I said something wrong, I can joke about myself into the microphone. And then I think that's the moment when I realized, like, I think I can be like those guys I watch on the internet. And then I started going to open mics and they mostly suck. It's usually just like maybe 20% of comedians who are actually funny. And the rest is just those who like fight their lack of confidence. There are stuttering people who do this as a therapy. There are people who are trying to fight depression, who lost the bet, so now they have to go up the stage. A lot of like random people who don't really pursue comedy or who don't have talent or who don't understand what is a joke, so they just go up and do something. And then maybe 20% are actual comedians. And then I'm like, okay, I can do much better. I can do much better. I can do much better. And a few years later, I started. Actually started because of a bet as well.
Oh, shit.
So me and my friend from Canada, whose name is Richard, or Dick.
It's always a good option. The first time when I heard when like American English people called themselves Dick, I was like, why? Why would you do that?
So yeah, we went for a couple open mics in China already. That was already in China, 2019. And he said, oh, they all suck. I can do so much better. So it was a beer inside of him talking. And I'm like, yeah, sure, you should. You definitely should. Like, just do the same as you did tonight, like a couple beers. And then he's like, yeah, for sure. I'll sign up if you sign up. So we both talked to the host like, yo, next week we're performing. And he's like, all right. And then every day I was telling him like, yo, Rich, are you writing something? He's like, no, I'm good. Like, I'll do it last night. But I was writing.
You were writing?
Yeah, so I was writing my jokes.
Right.
I was actually writing my jokes before when I was going to those open mics in Russia and in China, but I always thought like, nah, this is not good enough. Or like one day I'm thinking, this is actually like stand-up material. And then a few days later, after I read it like 20, 30, 50 times, I'm like, no, this is not funny at all. Yeah, but then on one comedy event, again, in Russia, that's called Punchline...
Plus?
No, not this one. Another Russian event. Like Punchline Festival. Like Festival of Comedy in Russia. When it was still okay to live there.
How do you say that in Russian?
No, they called it Punchline.
They actually
just
do
using Kirillitsa. Just using Russian letters.
Punchline.
But it's still like Punchline Fest. Yeah. So I asked one of guys whose comedy I like what to do. I'm writing and I don't perform. And he told me, just commit and perform with it once. If you read it for 20 or 50 times and you don't like it, it's you. What if other people will like it because they hear it for the first time? If they don't, at least you know how bad is it. Like, is it completely, fully shit? Or
so do you remember your first couple times when you performed?
Yeah, I remember the first time. The very first time I remember well. And there was already crowd work. I was telling a joke about people holding phones in their hands all the time. And there was a girl who is like, yeah, Chinese. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's actually everyone. Even you're holding your phone. You're on a comedy event, you're holding your phone in your hand. She's like, yeah, because you're boring. And I was actually not too bad, like objectively. Even now, I think that I was not bad.
But what did you have a comeback for that?
Yeah. She said, yeah, I'm holding my phone because you're boring. And everyone in the bar was like, whoa. And I'm like, well, your mom didn't say that. And the whole bar was like, whoa. So it's primitive. I agree. Like, if I do that now, your mom joke, it would be primitive. Right. But for my first ever comedy, it's all right. I can
write this down.
Can use it. I think everyone can use a mom joke. But the thing is...
I usually say your uncle.
No.
Your uncle said it's pretty nice.
Your uncle, who is also your dad.
Oh.
Hey. Yeah. This is a bit more elegant and less direct and a bit more interesting. But your mom joke is always your mom joke. But the thing is, I tried to do the same, like your mom joke as a comeback to some of the audience heckling me on like my third or fourth time, and it didn't work like at all. Didn't work completely. Everyone was like,
yeah. But listen, like this, one of the biggest ones I think about stand-up, what I noticed is that, and like since I've been back performing here, I was like, one day you do exactly the same material, but one day you have that certain type of a confidence, you take the pauses, you take this, like this, you have this cockiness in something and it just goes so well. And the other day you have the same material and then you just like, you can feel like the crowd wasn't feeling it, you were not feeling it. What do you call it? Like, do you need to like saying like you need to figure out how to get in that zone?
I would say that, of course, the more practice you have and more years of practice you have. Yeah. So we don't judge each other by like this month you're great, next month you're not. I would say it's years.
Oh, okay.
So, like a lot of great comedians became great after like 10 years or something. So you suck for a while and then you figured it out. So I would say, of course, it's experience, but also there are some factors which would just not allow you to do well.
Right.
Like if people sit too far from each other. Right. If you take like how do you call it? Like a legal COVID setting, 3 meters from each other, like tables should be 3 meters from each other. Just not funny. It's not like laughter is contagious more than COVID. So you need people to sit much closer to each other. That's why every time Friday, I'm myself moving chairs closer to the stage and adding more chairs into first couple rows. What's happening in the back doesn't really matter. People who sit in the back, they can chat or they more like into taking pictures on the event than actually listening and laughing.
No, setup is very important.
Setup is very important, and also
the mood, the whole thing.
Technical things like microphone. If your microphone...
It's very important if that microphone works.
Yeah. So when...
Wait, I have some... Wait. No, that's not that one.
Crickets, yeah.
Hey, I found it after fifth time. Sorry.
So people should see you and they should hear you.
Yeah.
So if light in the audience is same as light on the stage, it's a bummer. If sound from the microphone is bothered by something else, like if there is no, how do you call this thing? Spitter?
Fum? I don't know. Spitter, fum.
If there is some technical issues that distract people from hearing the words, then it's already harder. Like your joke should be like a killer joke.
Yeah.
Then maybe it will work. So people should at least 100% see you and hear you. Then there is a chance everything is going to work well. But also, there are ways to save events that were supposed to be a failure.
Yeah, there's I want to say straight away about example. When I was in UK, I performed a couple of places, and one of the places, microphone just died. And I think like there was someone passing by and like just there was a wire and they pulled out the wire and like there's no mic and they was like trying to figure out what to do. The guy was just don't give a fuck, just without mic, and just smashed it. And it was a very weird setup. It was like a pub, and he was like this orator, like walking and just directing and giving orders and just doing his stuff. I'm like, I don't think I ever can do that kind of shit. Like he was proper, like really loud as well, and people loved it. And like, you know, it's all about the performer, you know. It's like what you said earlier about also like if there's a spacing too big and this, that, and it's like, yeah, I agree. So that makes it more harder. But like our good mate String, I remember we performed this one place. I don't know if it was you there as well, but it was Artyom, our common friend. And so it was like 3 or 4 of us, we all bombed. It was just like horrible. It was like Indonesians mainly, like no one really spoke English. And I was like doing my gay jokes and shit. So it was like not going anywhere. And then String comes up and he just starts picking on this one girl, not picking, like just talking about her dress, about her outfit. Like, what did she just this with this dress? I don't know. Were you there?
Yeah, sounds familiar. I think he did it a few times.
Yeah.
When audience is not ready to, or not interested either to hear about something they're not in touch with.
Yeah.
That means that maybe you should talk directly about them. Yeah, like, hey, you.
Yeah.
And then it can fix everything.
Well, that's the art. So
yeah, you're always looking for connection, basically. It's just like when you paint or when you dance, you need people to like, you need them constantly to receive something that triggers their mind in good way, bad way, funny way, happy way, nostalgic, whatever. So if you can see that a few performers before you, they did all like sex jokes, drug jokes, and political jokes. None of them work. Okay, come up with something cute or something else, right. Come up with the crowd work. So usually it's a little, I don't know if it's a trick or not, but if guy before you kills and he did something, let's say very like kind of aggressive and impulsive and like active delivery, and he kills it, and you're like, oh, I cannot compete with him in like being this and that, so you should compete with him in contrast. Right. You come up and like, why was he like trying so hard and like being a bit sarcastic about him and stuff like that. Or if the guy before you, he was very nerdy, and doesn't matter if it worked well or didn't, you should change the pace for sure. If comedians changed but audio is the same, I don't think it's gonna work well. Yeah. So it's maybe String literally did that. He's like, okay, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. I'll do this. At least there is a chance, because if I do something that doesn't work in this place, probably not working for me too. So I have to try something else. Yeah. Shout
out to String, by the way.
Yo, String.
That's a shout out for you, buddy. I'm gonna do this little story and put you in, and yeah, String was just such a great and just positive energy always, and inspiring everyone. It was like, come on, man, you could just do it. Head down, ass up.
Head down, ass up.
Yeah, that was
security.
That was
quit playing.
Quit playing security. That's what's up, String.
Bust a nut.
That was later.
Very catchy phrases. Yeah. I don't have them.
Yeah, I don't mean either. But it's a funny concept to talk about. What makes them catchy? Is it just because you repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat? or there is some kind of trick to it. Like, because, for example, for Arnie, any movie he does, he always going to have some stupidly crazy, catchy phrases, like what people want to repeat. Is it because the way he does it, like, you need to cool down, or it's not a tumor, or it's like, get to the chopper, it's all these, and is it because the way he says that, or what do you think?
I think catchy is catchy. It could be programming. You just said it like intensive enough. Like each 30 seconds you say this phrase. Like in some comedy shows, you know, they use the same music between comedians, or they use the same.
Yeah.
So like this thing is catchy and everyone knows because of memes, because how often it's used, and because it's used in the same situation.
It's kind of coding you up so that you have to laugh that you hear the sound. Just like when they started putting the laughs on a background for like TV series and stuff, right? How crazy is that? Like you watch something and because they laugh, you're like, oh yeah, I should laugh as well. That makes like naturally like kind of you're part of the group. Because like in comedy shows, the same thing. If you would be watching comedies, no one is laughing. It's not like you're going to be laughing, even if it's fucking funny, right? So you maybe will, but very rarely. But if everyone is laughing, losing their shit next to you, you're just going to automatically laugh. Because we as a humans, the same if you yawn, I want to yawn.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we copy each other kind of thing.
And it's not only about being contagious, like, oh, everyone laughing, then I should too. It's not only this, it's also about allowing yourself to laugh.
Right.
So about this sitting like 3 meters away from each other, or like if there are gaps in first row and then gaps in second row. So you're already having too much space between people. You need to pack them in.
Right.
And then it's not only about they laugh, I will do too. It's also about, can I? Is it okay if I laugh? So, because I think intuitively or instinctively, I don't know English.
I don't know English.
I don't know what's the right correct word. So I think first, it's not only is it good to do something? Like, it's not only positive motivation, it's also negative motivation. Like, is it okay? Is it safe to do something? Like some people would not even respond to your attempt of crowd work. Like, hey, what's your name? Yeah. No, they freeze and then you're not going anywhere. So you should go to the next one. So the same, if it's allowed to laugh. Like if you start your set with dark jokes and there was no warm up before that and there was no dark jokes in the whole show,
it's risky, but it still can work.
It's a gamble.
I'm yawning like fuck. It's been
I know.
a long day.
I'm boring guest.
No. This is like because I was just
have some. It's dark chocolate.
Yeah,
like unpacking.
We do that.
Music for unpacking.
When we're gonna have a little break, then I'm gonna pack and have some, and then on top of it with a chicken foot, leg.
I don't recommend to mix them.
I love it. Like in Russian fairy tales, there's this house on a chicken leg. It's called no, don't say it. Избушка на курьей ножке. Hey.
Yeah, almost right.
Fuck you. What?
Yeah, there is some little...
Избушка на курьей ножке.
На курьих ножках.
Ah, so it's with a two. Yeah, so I said in single. I just one because I have only one. I can have only... you should bring two then.
Well, all right. Here you go.
Is that where you get it from?
It's illegal to bring meat into Indonesia.
Really? So you broke law?
No, I bought it here.
Oh, all these... Mandarin, Cantonese.
You still can buy it here, though.
Okay.
Will be
cool. So talking about comedy, let's continue some of the cool stuff. I mean, you've been traveling now quite a lot, especially in the last half a year or in a year. So you performed in States, you've performed in a lot of countries in Asia, like Vietnam.
No, Vietnam.
You didn't do that.
Thailand, China. Malaysia, Indonesia, China. States, Russia, Turkey.
Yeah, and you perform mainly for expat community, right? What was that?
Broke me. Wow. That beatbox event a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
affecting. I think I have a concussion. So mostly, yeah, but like in States, no, it's not expat community. It's just locals.
Obviously, yeah. It's just
and the same in Malaysia. Malaysia is a very multicultural place. I performed in Kuala Lumpur, and it's Indian Malaysians, Chinese Malaysians, Malay Malaysians, and expats. So it's 4 different categories, and they have much more in common than things that are different.
Oh, sick. Malaysia is a good place then to go and perform and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
And even though Kuala Lumpur is a kind of small city, it's like 2 or 3 million people.
Right,
it's relatively small for a capital, and like people know about this city, but it's quite small. But still, English is one of national languages, so there is a lot of events in English, and there will be no such problem like even like in Bali, where 30% of the audience doesn't know what you just said. Doesn't know the whole sentence.
Well, because they're mainly from Russia, that's why.
Yeah.
No,
during COVID, but not anymore.
Not anymore, no.
Now it's very low percentage.
Yeah, it's very low percentage
at least
Russians.
in comedy.
Yeah.
But tomorrow will be big stand-up show for like 400 or 500 people in Russia.
Tomorrow. Yeah, so this podcast is going to be it aired in about 2 months. So
nice.
Tomorrow is very important.
So in 2 months, I'll be in China already. I'll be maybe on the contract even.
Ah, shit, let's talk about the contract. So you got contract offer to do comedy in China. Where exactly?
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then it's going to be like, what, once a week, twice a week? What's the deal?
I don't know the details yet. More than twice a week for sure. Because they have a few places. And I will start doing comedy in Chinese too.
In Chinese too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How is your Chinese? Mandarin or Cantonese? Which
Mandarin.
one? Mandarin. How is it now?
It's okay. It's not as good as when I lived there, like before COVID, but
it's cool.
Still something, and I can catch up fast. I cannot read well. I cannot write like handwriting.
Yeah,
no.
that
But
one's very tough. Yeah.
Speaking is still fine, and they are forgiving. Like,
and you can mix it with English as well. So if they not understand your Mandarin,
Shanghai.
So cool.
Shanghai is very advanced in terms of like people being open-minded and speaking English and everything. And I kind of regret that I didn't go there before. So it was my first time in Shanghai, even though people used to tell me like, "Oh, you should go. It's so advanced. It's so much cooler." But I lived in Shenzhen, which is they have levels of cities. So Shenzhen and Shanghai are level 1, same with Beijing and Guangzhou. So it's first tier cities. So I thought it's kind of same as Shenzhen, like 1% of people speak English, mostly business. Everything is, not everything, but many things are in plastic and like that. But Shanghai is so much cooler. I don't know how to compare. Maybe Shanghai is like, what's the hipster place in Europe? I don't know.
Hipster place?
Yeah.
I would say probably Holland, as Amsterdam.
Probably Amsterdam
not as
or
much anymore, but it used to be more.
St. Petersburg. I don't know. So it's a lot of
in London, like Camden. Camden is crazy hipster, but used to be again. It's not anymore. It's like the hipster movement is dying out.
Probably. Well, people in Shanghai already saying like, oh, it's not the same as before. They're destroying all the old buildings and stuff. But it's very, very interesting. So, what was the question again?
About
we both
you
have
having
this syndrome. Switching.
No, this one is like
that was on me. Okay.
It was about you getting contract in China.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a few times a week, English and Chinese, and with censorship. So you have to apply your material to Cultural Bureau, and then if they say this is fine, this is not, then you can perform.
How do you feel about that?
Well, like. You kind of supposed to adapt. Like even here, we don't perform with all the jokes we have.
Yeah,
like Green Room is much more dark, racist, and more political than the stage.
What do you mean?
Like changing, dressing, makeup room.
Yeah,
how do Hollywood stars call it? Comedians call it Green Room.
Yeah, the backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course we don't perform with all the jokes. So how do we feel about it? We're okay. So it's. If you don't want it, okay, don't go. But
no, that is cool because it's challenging to keep to be in that realm of don't be too rude or like dig jokes or whatever. But it's I guess like the problem I have with this is that some jokes just would not work and then it's just so much punchier that you're allowed to say certain things which are forbidden, the forbidden fruit.
Well, it's not that different from the US then.
Yeah.
Like maybe to a foreigner with Eastern European accent, I mean myself, not you, they would forgive some jokes.
Right.
But if a local guy makes jokes about like something very specific,
Or
like
political.
recent police brutality or like something.
Shit.
Police work, how Alex said, police work is just hard, breathtaking. Yeah, so...
Because you can easily say like, oh, police in China is not very different from police in Russia. No.
If I send this joke, they will probably like, what do you mean?
Explain.
Come here. Deported without head.
Oh, Jesus.
No, it's a challenge. I already did. I did one little show with kind of limitations. They send the list. The list is like full screen of your iPhone. That's a list of forbidden topics.
Wow.
Yeah, but I didn't touch most of their topics anyway. Yeah. Removing all the curse words, all the mentioning of LGBTQ stuff.
So that's big no-no.
Yeah.
So if I would be talking about me that I used to work in gay clubs, is a good answer.
I think this is okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not saying that, like, oh, I think one of the politicians here is gay.
Oh. You're so young, Renars.
What do you mean?
Why you want to disappear right now?
Yeah, exactly. I probably will need to edit this out of the podcast.
Nah, it's fine. I mean, if I remember your set right, you're basically just mentioning. You're not describing any technical parts of like homosexual intercourse.
Exactly.
Yeah, or you're not promoting it. You're kind of mocking your father for being very old school and yourself for being very artistic when it's necessary. So you can pretend to be like this, but you're not like promoting, and you're not like rooting for gay marriage, right? And you're not mentioning technical parts. Then it's okay.
I'm basically saying that sometimes it works for straight men to pretend to be gay men to get laid.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I mean, I'll try. I'll send them your jokes, and if they say that's fine, I'll perform with it and make money and then send you a second chicken leg as a share of revenue.
So with the countries and what is the plan? Do you have a plan? Do you have like, okay, I haven't been in this country, I want to perform that country? Because right now, if you get the contract in China, I mean, you got the contract already. So you're going to perform there, and then you just build up and go do like a world tour. Like, what would be the plan?
For now, plan is just get more experience. Still, I'm still exercising, even though some gigs are lightly paid. Sometimes, somewhere, something, but it's all just like pennies. You cannot consider this as a salary. You cannot consider this as a job for now. So now it's still exercising, still gym. Like, it's been a bit over 4 years now, but I still feel like a newbie in terms of when I see someone putting on a special, and I just compare this like 1 hour of like very intense delivery in terms of there is no like low moments. There is no checking your phone within this 1 hour or 1.5 or 2 hours.
That's insane, right?
Like both technically and creatively, it's still feels like a bit far. At the same time, the feedback I receive is very like motivating and letting me know that I progress at least. Like in my first year, no one told me like, oh, you should do like something. I would go to your show or something. Like on my second year, so after first year, I arrived to Bali, and then I performed in Russian and in English, and then in Russian shows I would headline a lot or open. In English, I would mostly open. Because no one else wanted to open, and the host didn't want to do any crowd work or warm up or anything. And I'm like, okay, I can be first, but give me 10 minutes instead of 5. Yeah. And everyone was fine with that. So I would do a lot of crowd work.
That's cool.
That's how I trained in English. And in Russian, it was already there because I hosted all those events in Russian. So the improvisation skills were there. And then on my second year here, I had a lot of feedback like, yo, you should do your own show. I would just go watch you without anyone else. This is kind of motivating and cheering up. At the same time, like if it's 1 or 2 people in the audience, okay, I'm moving somewhere. But it's not like everyone loves it extremely every time. I'm not sure I ever had like 20 shows in a row without any silent moment, without any joke when you're like expecting and nothing happens and no one's laughing. Like,
and it's like, why?
It
was supposed to be funny, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Though in the thing about that contract in China, it happened because I won a little competition in Shanghai. There was a gong show. So it's you're performing for 3 minutes. For next 2 minutes, people can vote you out if they don't like you, if they think you're not funny. So if you finish 5 minutes, you go to finals. Then people vote for everyone, like by clapping and cheering and stuff. And then I made it to finals. And then in finals, it was me versus local Shanghai comedian, and she was really good. Without a she discount, it's not not like funny for a girl. No, like absolutely killer. Each 20 or 30 seconds, there was a joke that killed it.
What's her name? Let's give a shout out.
Winnie. Winnie, you're legit.
What's up?
I think I barely beat you, Winnie.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of me. Well, hey, come on, vote for me. I'm traveling comedian. Maybe that's why I won. I don't know. But anyway, so I won that thing, and it was another like little milestone. Like, oh, maybe I'm not.
Wow.
Maybe I can do.
How many people you were against?
In total, I think it was like 16 or under 20.
And then out of those 20, if you would be like very critical and very honest, like how many of them you thought were pretty good?
Maybe 3, including myself. But I'm judging by audience response, not by my own taste.
What about your own taste?
I don't know. I can objectively say that my 5 minutes were not that great. There was a couple jokes that were like that only took like half of the audience. So I'm like conquering this many hearts. Yeah. And Winnie, she got them all. Like she nailed all her jokes in 5 minutes, smashed it. And there was maybe another 1 or 2, but again, I'm judging by audience response. So I don't remember.
So you would say like you would have the good 2-3 competitors, like those would be like a good.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that everyone else were bad.
Yeah.
It's just I'm only judging by the audience response. How many times within your 5 minutes everyone was laughing and clapping? Right. Because in my own taste, there are some comedians who completely bomb, but there is some little thing they did that really makes you like
an audience
don't get it. Like it could be joke about writing comedy. It could be joke about something very niche. And surprisingly, none of the audience watched this movie, and only this comedian and you, and then you got it.
Right.
Yeah. So I really don't remember jokes from this event. I remember that people reacted the most to maybe 3 or 4 comedians, including me and Winnie. And then it's final. And then in final, they told us, okay, 2 more minutes right now. Here you go. And I chose a few jokes. And so when they told us 2 minutes, we both asking like, should we roast or should we joke? They said, whatever you want. So she did another 2 minutes about herself, family, being a short hair girl in China. And I did my 2 minutes, and just in the end of the set, I changed the closer joke into roasting her. So my joke was about like when someone points finger at me and says, "Mama, look, there is a foreigner." I'm hiding, and parents think that the kid is crazy. He sees unexisting foreigners, so they put him into mental hospital. And the ending of the joke is pretty dark. So,
it's good that you shared with the beginning.
I just changed the result of this mental hospital from what happens to this kid into becoming a short hair comedian.
Oh shit! So you did kind of roast her as well.
Yeah, in the very end. So I still had 2 minutes to I had 2 minutes for my super final, and in last 10 seconds, I'm telling this joke. And everyone was so surprised, and it was funny and a bit aggressive and unexpected because most of my jokes are about me. Oh, I'm Russian, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and then I'm foreigner in China, and everyone's like, ooh, white man, like this. And all these jokes about myself. And then suddenly, and after mental hospital, boom, it's her.
Right, but then in the same time, didn't you break kind of the rules and agreement? Because you said like you did 2 options, whether you roast or you do the jokes.
Oh, they said you can do whatever.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
So
then it's
she
cool.
she chose to do jokes only because she had a lot of jokes about herself, a girl who liked dressing up in a boy's outfit. And I did my jokes also about myself. In the very end, I switch it. So when 10 seconds left, all these 10 seconds were filled with people laughing. I don't need to do anything else. Everyone's clapping and laughing, and I'm just looking at the timer, and I'm like, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! And that's it. And then when they vote, I think everyone remembers that my set ended with like 10 seconds ovation. And but it was very close.
Nice.
If there would be like some objective, like professional judges, maybe they would vote for her because her 5 minutes were better than mine for sure.
But you had a surprise moment, that aha moment at the end.
Yeah.
And that's fucking awesome.
Well, and she didn't. So, also, it would be very risky to improvise. Like, what if they all love her and I kind of roast her, and what if everyone would be like,
exactly, it could be, you took the challenge. You took
I gambled again. I like gambling in comedy.
Nice.
Like improvising for big audience. Like, let's go. Like, I want to play a little game, you know?
Yeah, because it could be awarding or it could be you fucking an ass kind of thing, but it's cool to have that feeling, you know? I like that as well. That's why very often with my friends I get in trouble because I overstep the boundary of the joke. You know that shit better than I do. You're the master in that. What do we got here? This is the proof that we are in a tropical country, island, the island of gods, Bali. So we have coconut water, fresh. It costs 10,000 K. How much is that?
10,000 K.
10,000 K.
So it's 10 million, right? 10,000 K.
What do you mean 10,000 K in Indonesian rupiah?
K is already 1,000. You're saying 10,000. 10,000 IDR.
Oh my God, why do you have to be so anal? 10K. How about that?
Right.
It's better, right? So how much that in euros or in dollars?
2/3 of a dollar.
That's 2/3 of a dollar,
67 cents.
That's what's up. You're so smart, Ondrey.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what do you do actually for living? How do you make your living?
I have a little business. Very little. Smaller than your coconut.
Okay. That is very descriptive
it's
your business.
It's affiliate marketing. It's pretty boring, and that's what keeps me creative outside of work time. Okay. So it's just about buying and selling traffic. Yeah.
Oh, so do you go out in the street and you buy traffic?
Traffic? No. Okay. Look at this guy. Pretends to be even older than he is. No, it's internet traffic, advertising traffic. So I'm not selling gigabytes of data. I'm selling conversions of online shops. Okay, and you've been doing that for a while now. Yeah, maybe a couple years. Yeah. So it's like the money wise. So you figured out that this is the way to make easy money, whatever. But do you enjoy it or not really? I enjoy it when I see numbers because sometimes they're better than half year of working in the office, but sometimes they are just close to zero if you minus the expenses, because I have a little team and I'm also sharing with my business co-owner. So yeah, sometimes it's very low, sometimes it's surprisingly good. So when it's low, I just remind myself that it's much better than working in the office without seeing any changes for a long time. So actually the longest job I have in my life was 7 months. Right. In the office in Chinese company. Official with working visa. After first 3 months of working illegally, they. I didn't say that.
Cut. Okay, so how about we chat a little bit about your upbringing and stuff? So you were born and raised in Moscow?
Yeah.
Okay. Brothers, sisters?
Brother.
Older, younger?
Older.
What does he do?
Блять, Renars.
What?
He's in the army, in the war.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Hey, next questions.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever told me that. Yeah, I didn't.
I did it in my jokes.
Oh.
I did it through my jokes. Yeah.
Right.
I had a few sets about that. But again, Bali people, they, same as in US, people don't care about anything outside of US. I would say people in Bali don't care about most of things outside of.
I don't know. For me, it makes a big difference. Like I would, like with you, because you've been my friend for a long time. So like, it's a tough one. You know, you have your brother there.
Yeah. So therapy is comedy. Comedy is therapy.
But one of the things what comes to my mind is like, it's easy, it's simple because someone gives you a choice. You know, like how as a people we are, also when the Soviet Union collapsed, my dad was not happy. My dad was not happy because there was, no one could come and tell him, you do this, and this is the money you're going to get. And then we get it to the point, I remember that in Latvia, people would not turn up at work. My dad was alcoholic, so, well, you drunk at home, whatever. And the militia or milicy or police would come over and grab you and take you back to work where you were working in some factory or whatever. So, and then when that Soviet Union collapsed, 1997, I think it was for Latvia. No, that was because everyone... 1991 was it? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, 91. Because I was born 1984. I was 6 years old, 7 years old. Here you go. So around that time, and so someone like my dad was like, "What? Soviet Union was giving everyone work, like da da da." Even though, there would no be freedom of speech, no freedom of like doing things, no freedom of any of those things. So my dad would feel more comfortable just because like they would allow them to play in this little area and this is fine. And so he would be surrounded by people who glorify that and they're like, yeah, that's great. So we don't have to think about the choices and, you know, we get this done. And then when independence got in, only such a small number of people who were like, okay, we can actually think of our own now. And, you know, and we can take responsibility in our hands, our destinies and all that kind of stuff. And so this is the same thing. Like I grew up in a small town, 6,000 people in Latvia. Wow. Yeah, I lived there till I was 18, moved to Riga, which is the capital, and there's 1 million people. And then I thought, oh my God, I made it. It's huge, whatever. But then I was like, I would go to other places, see other things. And as soon as I see that there's so much more going on around the world and they end up being in Canada, then, you know, States, whatever, I was like, geez, you know, it's crazy. And I think for me, the biggest one is meeting people like you, meeting people like who we have here a lot in Bali, who are so open-minded and they've seen so much and they can experience and they can exchange with those experiences. You know, for me, that is the biggest treasure because like, I cannot go and what am I going to talk about to someone who never left their town? They never done anything else except that one job they did after they got the high school or university. Even now I go to Latvia. I have one of my friends, he's worked for the same company for 12 years, but he went to university. He got a master's degree. He got like, it wasn't like he was very close-minded. He was like, cool, but he's still doing that job.
Is it a cool job?
It's as far as I know, it's a cool job. Yeah, and in his case, it's like pretty cool because he has 4 kids now, so family's priority number 1. And in work, he turns up like twice a week or 3 times a week. He's kind of a boss, does a couple of things, and that's it. You know, that's fine. But at the same time, my biggest problem would be, where is the safety and security that you can be kind of let go anytime? Like what if something happens with a company, they're reconstructing whatever. How I worked for Kraft Foods for this massive, huge company in Latvia. And all of a sudden they had to, you know, reduce the people and I was out. So it's like, I don't know. But the things what I want to do, they're so different, like, and it's really difficult to compare. Because at the end of the day, as long as that human being is happy, you know, even with the decisions where we can condone and say like, oh no, this is how, but they think that's cool, you know?
Well, I think balance is important here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of people in Bali, doesn't matter, Balinese or expats, they don't think too much forward. They plan maybe next week and that's about it. At the same time, there are people who think too far and they don't see anything right now. So I think balance is important. I'm trying to be balanced in this case. So I'm not thinking about like, how about my 60s? Where is my retirement? What am I going to do? But at the same time, I'm thinking something. Like
I like that. Yeah, I like that. The way you said it. I don't think too crazy in the future, because sometimes I get pissed off when someone says like, how do you see yourself in 10 years? I'm like, hopefully happy, happy,
alive,
doing my shit. Healthy and alive, and then it's like, I would say maybe like, I could say for next year, I could like, I would like to maybe build this villa thing when I'm like, I have this project or whatever. But again, like in my career, doing my job, I cannot know what's going to happen next couple of months or whatever. Probably it's not a good thing, but I enjoy the idea of not really knowing, but going to the right direction, in my opinion. So,
are you going to be a stuntman coach?
Stuntman coach.
Stunt coach?
No, they don't really have those kind of. It's like the next kind of development or kind of upgrade would be whether to become like a fight coordinator. So it's like you specifically just coordinate fights. Then it could be, and the biggest one is the stunt coordinator. So you coordinate the whole action scene, whatever. But I don't think that's how much I love stunts in the sense of like kind of. Because you give it all. Like the people who I know who become stunt coordinators, that very quickly, like the amount of stress they're dealing with, it's like they need to deal with producers, directors, with cast who's like throw their tantrums and like tantric whatever stuff, and then responsibility for what if some performers get hurt and stuff like that. So way too much responsibility. That is like, for me, like right now I have these I have these two businesses in Bali, and it's great. I'm kind of getting more into like finally feels like I can use my business education what I had, and then I worked in that area as well. So it like feels like it would be great if I could just build like, I don't know, 5 little trade company, like boutiques or whatever, and there's some money coming in, and it's like, it's a passive income. That would be fucking awesome, and then you just kind of build as more experience you get. And here it's like, it's more about like finding the right partners and right people to deal with, because it's so important to people you can trust, and it's then when that happens, it's quite easy to do that kind of stuff, So
relationships,
100%. Yeah. So going back to your family. So brother, what are your parents? What they do?
Nothing interesting. Really, it's just.
So how is it possible that you're so interesting?
I think that's why, because my childhood was not like complete poverty, but pretty poor, and then. My only traveling with parents was Egypt, as most of ex-Soviet kids. And then when I was in university, so there was a period of time in Russia when national currency was not too bad. It was like 3 times more expensive than now, comparing to dollar. And then even doing some part-time jobs, like, I don't know, being delivery guy for a month, and then being a guy for children's birthday animator kind of stuff, you can save money for a trip abroad. So I went to China in 2012, just for 7 or 8 days. It was a package for under $1,000. I think it was very cheap. It was funny cheap. It's something like $500 for a week.
And how old you were?
I think 19 or 20. I went to my first trip abroad, and it was China. It was a little island where you don't even need a visa. It's called Sanya. Or no, the island is called Hainan, and then the city is called Sanya. And then it was 7 days, flight, breakfast, hotel, $500. The secret was like, you're buying this package and then you're flying tomorrow. So, and then during this trip, I'm like, whoa, you don't need huge money to travel. This is already a big discovery for most of our people.
Yeah.
Like ex-Soviet people think that traveling is for
Rich people.
Bourgeois. Is you like when you're balling, you can reach. You can reach the other countries. You can get there if you have money. But actually, this condition is more in your head. It sounds pretty coachy or something, but
no,
it's about maybe passive, maybe actual brainwash that we had when traveling is shown like something for rich people. Actually, you don't need that much to travel. And then I did a few more countries. And also I liked English all the time. So in high school, when you graduate high school, I graduated in 2008. And there are exams you have to go through, and there are 2 more exams you can choose. So it depends on which university you're going, you're choosing your school exams. So I chose economics and English. Did excellent. And then English in university, I also liked it. And when I traveled, I used it a lot. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm kind of becoming this guy. Yeah. And then a few years after university, I went to China to spend my winter and then stayed for 3 years. So, and then this is very different country. Even though some people like make this joke that China is not the biggest country in Asia. It's actually Russia. Because most of it is in Asia. So we have a lot of things in common, but because there is not even buffer language, like with many other countries, English would be buffer language. Chinese don't care. So then you have to find ways. You become a lot more plastic and elastic because you have to show many things. I want this, and you learn language. And then I think this opens your mind a lot because many things, same as traveling with $1,000 budget, was a discovery. Same in many of those travels, there was a lot of little discoveries that you couldn't even think of. Like, this is possible.
What was this? What I'm curious about? What was this thirst and curiosity that you want to get out of Russia and that you want to explore? Because I had my story, which was pretty crazy as well. Because like the first time I ever went abroad, like my parents didn't travel at all. You say your parents took you to Egypt. My parents literally never left Latvia. Never went anywhere. Like even in the road trips didn't exist. It was ridiculous. But then in school we had in grade 11 our English teacher, which I still thankful to this day, and a good shout out to my teacher Anita. She's like, this great inspiring person. So she organized this exchange program with a Norwegian school that the Norwegian kids could come to our school, and it's a very like small school, like up somewhere in mountains and stuff, and then we would do the same thing in return. And so when I went to Norway, I remember like we took a prom, so we took a bus, and then a bus would go on a boat, and from a boat then it would go through Sweden or
on a helicopter, and then the helicopter goes into a bigger ship.
Sweden to Norway. And basically I remember that was a late evening, like it was night when we were in a bus, just got to Norway. I was in front right next to the driver looking at all these beautiful lights and fjords and everything which I'd never seen before, and I was mesmerized, and I couldn't understand why all the rest of the kids are sleeping. No one gave 2 fucks about it. I was like, you've never seen anything so beautiful in your life, and you just lie there or whatever. And I was like, couldn't understand. And then further, there was a culture shock, seeing like how Norwegian kids, they all speak perfect English. At the time, I didn't know the reason for that was because they had all the movies were in original with subtitles, and in Latvia and post-Soviet Union countries, it was all dubbed. And that's one of the reasons. So for listeners who don't know why Eastern Europeans has very thick accent, the main reason is because they grew up watching movies all dubbed.
Yeah, we don't hear.
And kids, they learn the most phonetically. Kids hear, they repeat. We didn't have that opportunity. So then, and I was in Norway, and we would do these presentations. They would do presentations about their school. We do presentations about our school. So we did it, and our main speaker was this girl who I knew, like her English is the best. She did her presentation, and I was like, yeah, we're proud. Fuck yeah, smashed it. And then they did their presentation. Oh my God. They were like walking down the street, just like being so fluent and just at ease, and just like, we in Norway, we have this. And then when I was school in this, and I was like, the whole thing, I thought, I was like, we just fucking idiots. Because again, I didn't know that there's this thing about the movies, you know? So I just thought they're much better. They're much better students, whatever. And I would come back to Latvia, I remember, to my little town, and I would study my ass off. I would read all the books I could, write the words out. My English teacher, I asked her, so how can I improve? She's like, write me letters. So to this day, she has a letter somewhere where it's all with red ink because I had so many mistakes, so many spelling mistakes, so many whatever. But I was trying my best. And then only years later, I found out what was the reasons, whatever. But the story goes about how Norway was the big opener for me. The world is so much bigger. There's so many more things to see. And how dare we even not to use this opportunity, you know, to open our horizons? Like how much you can learn from that little town sitting there, or how much you know, even being in your country. But then you meet people with different ideas, opinions. This is, you know, crazy. So I really can relate to what you said. And what was your first moment of, I need to go, I need to see it?
I would say all those, start from that university travel, and couple years after when I would travel, so it was like a week in China, 2 weeks in Thailand, 2 weeks in Vietnam, I think week or 2 weeks in Morocco, and then something else. And all those trips, I knew that I'm going for a trip. So I felt myself completely tourist, but I felt myself comfortable already without like, SIM card, map, English, without all this stuff. I already like, okay, I'm very comfortable and stressless. Even when I had food poisoning, I'm like, I got it. Just drink more water, sit a bit and go explore. Like, it didn't feel like extreme. I didn't need, you know, some people say after vacation, if you go for vacation abroad for a first time, after that you need another week of vacation in your hometown. Like you need another rest. После отдыха надо еще отдохнуть.
Yeah, some kind of losers say that.
Right. So I didn't feel any stress traveling. And then first time when I'm like, okay, I want to try live somewhere. That was China, 2016. I had my project job, which ended in September, October. And then I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to be looking for a new job in winter. I was just picturing myself going for interviews. And of course, you need more interviews than you're getting paid, right? You do like 5 or 10 interviews, and then you maybe get a job. And then you're gonna go to this job every day in winter. I just pictured myself this, and I'm like, I don't want that. I want to spend my winter somewhere else. I have some savings. Yeah. I had a car. I sold my car. Cheap one, like
Lada, Moskvich.
No,
Zhigul.
Volkswagen.
Oh, Volkswagen,
but old one. So it was. I went to China with like $2,000. I stayed in a hostel for a couple of weeks, then moved to a room, and then went to university and then studied Chinese and stuff like that. But within the first 2 months, I already I started movies. Not start, but like did some extra work. Extra in movies.
So go background workers or extra.
Yeah, I did extra, and then a couple English teaching gigs. And then I'm like, wait, money is so easy here. There is so much new food and new visual experiences, and general so much new experience, and money is easier.
Yeah.
And the expenses are kind of same as in Moscow, but no winter. Sounds like a great deal. So I extended my visa, then joined university. Then it was half year student visa. Then
what
another
did you study in uni?
Just Chinese.
Just language.
For 2 years, I just studied Chinese. So every day was 2 classes. Sometimes it's like listening and writing.
Wow.
Sometimes it's like reading and speaking, something like that.
How did you find it in the very beginning? Was it like...
That's another interesting story. So I stayed in that hostel in the city center in Shenzhen. And in that hostel, one day I met 2 girls from Armenia, Lily and Rosie. Yo.
Lily and Rosie.
Yeah.
Yo.
So in China, I met Armenian girls who told me about university and how great is the visa. Because I went to China through Hong Kong, and I spent a week in Hong Kong first, which is special administrative region of China. So, but it's very interesting, more multicultural, more English, more easy for Westerner to understand. And then I liked it a lot. And then they told me like student visa is like multi-visa. So you can go there anytime you want. I'm like, whoa. So I'm doing easy part-time jobs, can go to Hong Kong any moment. And Shenzhen is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And I'm making more money, same or even less spending, great weather. And then campus of university had palm trees and mangoes growing there. And I'm going to live there inside. Because in Moscow, I studied in university, which was in my area. So I didn't live inside of it. And this time was campus. So I'm like, okay, great. So I studied Chinese. And that was also a very eye-opening experience. Right. And I told my friends like, yo, come here. Let's study Chinese. Let's eat mangoes every day. And
yeah. Because campus experience is one of the coolest experiences there is. Campus / living in student dormitories.
Yeah.
Because the people who live, let's say someone who would live in Riga and they would have their family, so they would never stay in dormitories. Like they wouldn't be able to get them. Only kids who came from far away. So I came like 200 kilometers away from whatever. For Latvians, that's far, just so you guys know, 200 kilometers. But so in the student life, obviously on campus and whatever, but in student dormitories, that's where you made like these super long lasting like relationships, you know, and friendships. Like now, right now, my guy who I opened the massage place with in Ubud, that's the guy I met in student dormitories. And we were like, and also we were involved in university, like student parliament and like very socially active and stuff. And that is a great experience, and that is one of the greatest things about university. You know, I can't keep saying like how important it is to have that community be together and stuff, and because you most likely you're not going to remember any of those theories you're talking about and you're studying, but you're going to remember the people.
Oh yeah,
and that crucial time when you're also developing as a person.
Also, I think it's memorable and special because like kids who went to summer camps, they would talk about it for next few months. But then imagine you live in summer camp.
Yeah.
So you leave, you have your schedule, you go to breakfast, then you go to classes, then you can have a nap if you pretend to be Chinese, or you can go do your illegal part-time.
Did you try to?
Of course, it's...
pretend to be Chinese.
I mean, ask the girls. So... or do some illegal part-times or do whatever. You have schedule, you have neighbors. In our case, it's just one neighbor. So you have one roommate. So it's not extremely uncomfortable or something.
In the same room?
Cool. Yeah, two guys living in the same room.
We were 3 guys living in the same room for freaking 5 years.
Eastern
so shut
Europe.
the fuck up. Literally 5 years with 2 other dudes.
Well, losers. China.
What do you mean?
That's cool.
That's what
that's cool.
That's where they discovered group sex. That's how it all started.
All right. That's why you're so fucked.
So your girlfriend comes over and you see that next to you there's bed and
don't mind.
And the thing is just lifting you up. How are you guys doing there? Yeah, we're good. Cool. So studies and that. But that curiosity also, so you figured out that it's easier to travel to China, obviously, from Russia, because it's tough to go to Europe, isn't it?
Visa was a bit complicated back then, and I would say information was not that available as now. There was not many like travel bloggers like now. 10 years ago, it was not too popular to tell about how to apply for documents.
Yeah.
And China, I didn't consider traveling to China. I wanted to spend winter there. So I'm like, I applied for a tourist visa, 2 months. And then 2 months is almost over. And I'm like, okay, I didn't learn any language. I didn't make any business contacts. I didn't figure out how everything here works so I can go back to Russia and then start something great. So I need more time.
Right.
And then this whole idea of leaving there started. But I was ready for that because I sold my car. I moved all my stuff. I was renting a place in Moscow. I sold a lot of things in Moscow, just like t-shirts, pants, shoes. I sold it all cheap. Just in 2 weeks, I made like maybe $600 or something, just selling stuff cheap. And then the couple boxes I left at my mom's place. So I was ready for staying longer, just in case.
But what about like things like American Dream or whatever? Did you thought about that? Did you try it?
I thought about that, but I didn't want to I didn't want to eat shit anyway. I didn't want to be like dishwasher. Like all the American dreams, they start with like hard labor and like weird conditions. I didn't want to struggle. I wanted to enjoy life. And those, like from third week or fourth week in China, I already had my room, not hostel, but my room. And I already found some part-times that would cover this and food and everything. And I'm like, why do I like, what if this is just first or second month? What's up later? Like it's so interesting. Like I went to States in August this year, first time. I spent so much money. It's not like not like I'm sad about it, but I didn't have this money back then. I could not go to States for even a week, I think. Just visa and tickets would cost me everything I had already. Especially after 2014 when Russian currency already dropped almost down. So China was a great option. And also what's interesting, talking about this curiosity stuff and thirst for new experiences. When I told my friends like, hey, come here, it's so awesome. I figured out stuff so fast. And if you speak some English, you can already do this and that. And if you're taller than this much, you can do extra. Maybe you become model. Some people without their intention become influencers. I would say in China it's even easier for a Westerner. You just go there, you're already handsome. So, and people like, some of them said that they like their hometown too much, just like what you're saying. They never traveled, but they think it's the best already. Some of them saying like, I don't like Asia, it's too spicy. Which is, in a way, it's true for like, I don't know, 10, 20%. You can choose, especially in China. There is such a huge variety of food. So some people would not travel because they like potato too much.
What don't you think that it's just they find a safety net, that excuse? That's it.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Safety.
For sure. For some people,
I'm too close to my parents. I'm close to this. All that bullshit. But you say no. Just go for half a year. You're gonna learn so much.
But half a year sounds crazy for a person who never left.
2 months. Go for 2 months. Let's see how you're gonna feel. And that's the crazy, because like when I moved to Canada, because that was the first country where I moved for a longer period of time before I moved to UK. It was like we were quite a lot of, I knew some Latvians who also did the same thing, used the same visa program. And I remember only me and this other Latvian, we stuck to our, like, that's it, we staying, we're going to figure out the work. And I slept on the floor for like 3-4 months. And then we literally, we started going to this church where we met these people, and these people gave us a bed, like a double decker bed. So both of us were sleeping like in this high school thing. And, but also like in 2 months, I already got the job where I was making decent money doing door-to-door sales, cable TV, even though I had the master's degree in business, and even though I had all my shit, but
that's related.
Yeah, but it was related, true. But it was also perfect ego check. It was perfect, just be kind of, also just be like, listen, no one gives a fuck what you have in a diploma. We care about you as a personality. Can you persevere? Can you go through the shit, and for me that was the best and like just school ever. Like I was literally chased by dogs. There's one guy pulled a rifle out, even though Canadians are super nice, but they still like, how many
excuse me?
I love my favorite homes are the Jewish homes, because they, as I would come lock their door, they usually have dinner, and they would be so pissed off that you messed up their dinner with their family. They would go ballistic on me. But I was like, I didn't know, sorry, I'm Catholic. Have a good one.
That's how you get circumcised, huh?
Exactly, just not in the right place. But the idea that kind of people are just so comfortable, and in the end, so from those Latvians, so many would call their moms and dads, send me money, I'll buy a ticket, that's it, I'm out of here. And we stayed, and we smashed 2 years, and we decided like we're gonna stay longer and whatever. And the craziest for me was after 2 years being in Canada, coming back to Latvia, I had the craziest culture shock. I was like, what's wrong with you old people?
It's called reverse.
Yeah, it's like reverse culture shock. Yeah. So it's like why everyone is angry, upset, like depressed, and like it's just nothing is good. Like what is going on here?
Welcome home. Yeah.
And I was trying to blame it on it. The weather was like it was spring, like snow was just melting. It was kind of shitty, but it's not the weather. It's the fucking people. It's how they look at it every day. And then funny, like I was there for 3 weeks before I went back to Canada. After 2 weeks, I was like, kind of like, oh yeah, that's how we are, and I'm becoming that. And I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I would go back to Moscow every summer from China, just for a month. Because the study was over, and then I like Moscow summer. Well, but last 3 years I don't go there.
Okay,
yeah, but I didn't have much reverse cultural shock. I had more of like all my friends in Moscow were like, "Hey, when you coming back? When you coming back?" And then I'm back, and everyone's busy. So I
had very similar as well.
People have day jobs, and I'm on vacation. I'm in my hometown on vacation. So guys, let's go. Let's walk the whole night. I
think there's the other thing. There's even better. So when you're away, they kind of miss you. They kind of want to see you. When you're back, oh, this fucker who never works and just travels and enjoys his life. Now he's coming here and he's going to be showing off about his like travels and all that stuff.
He has fake shoes on him.
Yeah,
he's back from China.
Exactly. So that mentality is like it's pretty crazy because I mean I'm trying every time back in Latvia. I'm trying to hang out with my mates and it's nice. Like last time, it was like really lovely to see everyone. But there's a certain thing. Like first of all, there's not much to talk about. There's a lot of going on of. You know, like they have, oh yeah, I have 3 kids, I have 4 kids, I have, you know, I work at the same job for 10, 15 years. And it's like, Renars, what are you doing? Well, I don't know. Just
so like many. I do so many things. Yeah, every time I'm back to Moscow, well, my friends know what I do because I usually share in both on social media and when we chat, I would maybe tell more details. But you can tell them new things. They cannot tell you new things. They can just tell you that are they following the script of everyone else, of all your classmates or not? I have a few classmates who got kids right after university or during university. You're just 20, 22, 21 and you got kids and then if you didn't travel before, you're probably not going to start traveling with kids.
Exactly. Some, because they're exceptions, the ones who travel, then they would have kids, they would continue traveling no matter what.
Right, probably.
But those are huge exceptions.
Yeah. If you thought that traveling is exclusive before having kids, then it becomes impossible after. And then they never see anything else and then they just follow the path prepared by your government or something.
Yeah. Crazy shit. Hey, on such a positive note, we're going to have another break. Let's have another break.
Yeah. And we are back.
That's the only soundtrack I have. Is not fucking boring. Yeah, that's it. But this
one is going to be like this.
Nice.
I know. So finally you can be more masculine than I am.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
No, where's the... Oh, that's the one. Do it again.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? Real trap shit. Trapaholics.
These things are awesome. What about I'm not your father?
I'm not your father. Fatality. Get over here.
That's the one. Get over here. Doesn't sound for me that good. What about the cookie?
Which one? Which cookie?
What is that? I'm a cookie monster or something.
I don't know.
Or just say cookie.
Cookie.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was also I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I don't remember. How did you say that?
So should we just continue with these voices? You good with that?
It records with these voices as well?
Yeah.
Nice. Triple kill. Finish him.
This is like...
It was me.
No, yeah, when we were kids, this would be like...
That's it.
No, so bad.
It's like I just took your superpower.
Wait, give it back. Give it back.
Okay, what do you have?
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it falls. You wanna see it wiggle wiggle?
I'm not sure about that.
Who's that?
What else we have?
What about this planet? Let's take over this planet.
Not too bad.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know how to change it for you. I just can change it for me for some
Yeah,
reason.
just this. Your butt. The fucker.
I didn't know that I have a beeper.
Yeah.
I just discovered the beeper. Okay, start swearing.
So your mom is like a big cunt. Just wait till it's over and then you send it.
Okay. Say it again.
I think your uncle is actually a big fucking asshole.
I'm so slow.
Oh, I like the low pitch thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gives you like superpowers. Listen, cool. Well, this is our last third kind of part, which is more a little bit funky and fun. It's not as depressing as the previous two.
Well, we have to discuss our past.
Exactly. No,
Two Eastern Europeans come into the bar.
but also I like it. Two Eastern Europeans discussing their past is definitely going to be a fucking a downer. It's definitely going to be depressing.
They did postcard.
What did you do when you were a kid? All I did is I was working in the farm.
And the podcast is black and white.
Exactly.
And the sound too.
Like
One is like, "Eh," and another is, oh. Black and white.
yeah, but this is where we come from. Like, what is your belief about how people say like, oh, it's so important where you're coming from? Sometimes I say like, yeah, I don't really disregard where I'm coming from or don't ignore, but I usually focus where I'm going to. So that's my main focus. And some people say it's cheesy, but I'm like, it's great that you know where you're from, you understand where you're from, like. But if you're too focused and too much like in the past and this and that, it's like I don't think it matters that much. It's more about like,
Agree.
this is what you created now. This is your little machinery. Like you're doing all these little things and whatever, and then just look in the future. Where else you can go? Where else you can do?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's for me. It's more about not when you started your path, but which check-ins did you have? Like. You spent a couple of years here, a couple of years there. You did this job for half year. Then you tried business for half year. Then you failed this many times.
Right.
I think what shapes you is not the shape of your mom's.
I was C-section, so shut the fuck up.
Same.
Yeah, brother.
Maybe that's why we're so
Cool.
open-minded. Oh. There's this.
Where's this?
Yeah.
Delay.
I'm a C-sexual. Oh, okay.
C-sexual.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it depends when are you shaped as a person. If you're shaped in your high school and that's it, you don't change ever after, then that's it. That's your influence. If you keep getting something every year, every month, every day, then you just keep reshaping. Like you have your childhood formed by hanging out with Latvians and Russians, watching movies in Russian, but then talking in different languages. You already have more flexible mind than people who try to learn second language after their 30s or something.
Yeah, true.
So you're already more flexible. Then you do so many sports and you've seen a couple countries before you're 20. That's it. You already something. You're already not hopeless.
No, 100%. I totally agree. It's like a computer game, you know, when you have different skills,
Right.
you learn different skills, different levels.
Yeah.
That's why, like, every time, you know, people post something cool they do, like hashtag skills, you know.
Yeah, like backflip and splits.
Yeah.
Every time they post it, we know it's Renars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And backflip and land and splits. That's
Yeah.
what's up. Try that.
Yeah.
But did you see the new thing I start doing now? When I'm in splits and I'm
Splits and
holding the
twerking?
weight. No, I'm holding a weight, 7 kilos.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to
7 kilos is
handstand
balls.
push-ups. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels like you're going to just break. It's like, hey, you mind filming me? Okay. Just guys like legs around the head.
But do you have your insurance?
Yeah,
working
of course.
in Bali?
Yeah. I have. Otherwise, I mean, like, you can't ride a scooter here if you don't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the sense, like something can happen anytime, you know, or obviously training and stuff. But insurance is very important to be abroad, and it's not that expensive if you think about it. And also, like, how many stories we hear around, like, even at dengue fever, someone gets dengue. I remember last year, 2 years ago, a friend of mine, he was like not gonna go to hospital because he says it's too expensive. I was like, you're gonna fucking die, you crazy weirdo. And then I organized him to go to a local, like, it's not local, kind of local hospital where they would charge him as locals. I literally called them up. I know this is guy, he's a bule, or he's an expat or a tourist, whatever, but he doesn't have insurance. How much are you going to charge him? And they're like, oh, it's like a couple millions. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's get him on. And he said, like, all was the difference was just not as cool room or whatever, but they treated him and he was fine. So yeah. So anyone who's watching, listening to this podcast, guys, if you feel like you have any sickness or whatever, you're not really sure what the fuck it is, go to hospital. You've been lucky in Bali with all the disease and stuff.
I had COVID, which was tested negative.
Right.
But I had a headache and fever for 4 days, and then I'm completely...
Yeah, but what about like tropical shit? Have you had any of that?
No.
I got in my first year, I got 2 types of fucking salmonella. That's what's up.
Wait, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought I got...
It's the thing which people say is in raw eggs.
Yeah, raw eggs, chicken, and...
How did you get it?
Raw chicken, and it could be dirty water. So, no idea. But like, I thought it's dengue fever, so I self-medicated, self-diagnosed, and then thinking that it's dengue fever, you cannot do anything. So it's sit at home and just drink a lot of liquid. And then it was really bad. I was like, okay, I need to go see a hospital, see a doctor. And I got this like local dude check my blood, and he's like, dude, you don't have dengue. You have 2 types of fucking salmonella.
2 types?
2 types, yeah, because they're like, I never knew that there's so many different types. He showed a list. There's like 7 or 8 of them different types of salmonella. And he said, you check out for 2 of them. So you have 2 of the whatever stuff. Gave me antibiotics. 3 days later, I was perfect. So...
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Okay, more about fun stuff.
Yes, please. Did we have to wait to third part?
I don't know. Like, we should do fun stuff all the time.
Yes.
Okay, what do you have? I don't have anything to ask you anymore. Maybe I have something you want to tell me.
Yes, Renars. I think you should perform in Chinese as soon as possible. You did Russian stand-up comedy once.
Once, yes, and
went amazing. After you left the stage, it went amazing.
Like that.
Yeah, weird night. I agree, weird night. Especially it was weird when half of people left after comedy and we still had movie, and then everyone who stayed there like, wow, that's a great movie.
Yeah, we're referring to Ondrey and Artyom. They organized this stand-up, and it was in Russian, and it was my first time when I tried to do stand-up in Russian. And the thing is, like, in all, like, I don't think it was that horribly bad. It wasn't great, but the one thing for sure, what I messed up, my jokes and my stuff was not relatable to that generation of Russian people.
Yep.
So my stuff was like, I really want to dig into like, how I grew up with the Russian movies, yada yada, with the dubbed, like Arnie was like, главные роли Arnold Schwarzenegger, like all that kind of stuff. Like they would not know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, there are people who are younger than you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would say it's...
A lot of people are younger than me.
Most of people in Bali. Yeah. So Renars was talking about movies from 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and people just don't remember them. No. And a few of those jokes were made already. It's not like you copy someone. Of course, you don't follow like Russian comedians.
Exactly.
But those jokes were just quoting something from those movies been made so many times.
Yeah.
So the stories you brought were maybe okay for hosting an event.
Yeah.
But for stand-up comedy, they were just not sharp enough.
No, I get it.
Not enough.
I get
yeah.
it. Yeah.
But it's good that you did your first time, and it was already how many people? 60, 80?
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
100?
something like that.
Something like 80, I think.
I don't know, like it's again, it's so the brain is shaped in such different ways when you do change the language. It's like, I mean, what flows in English, you know, great. Try to do that in Latvian, that's never gonna flow. And for me to think of doing stand-up in Latvian as well, I think I would struggle. And then, you know, in Russian. So it's like also like when you meet Russians, I love joking around with Russian people. Like, yeah, they find me funny and stuff like that. But again, that's a different story. It's a story you're funny with your friends or you're writing a material and that stuff. So
agree. But how did you feel when you were on the stage? First time in your, is it second or third language? How do you?
I would say second, yeah. Latvian is still considered to be my native for the first language.
And then English was already in high school and after, right?
Yeah. So English has always been third, but right now I would say my English is probably a little bit better than Russian.
Yeah.
But also it depends what I'm talking about. It's funny because like whoever are the expats and they start like learning English, so there's certain things but much easier for you to express yourself using English language, and then there's certain things but it's easier for you to express yourself using Russian. So it's like especially if it's very technical language. Let's say like if I would talk about stunt industry, I have no fucking clue how to say that in Latvian or how to say that in Russian.
Same.
Because I never experienced them in those languages, but in English. And then, but if you were going to talk to me about childhood things, what we did in, you know, Latvia.
Yeah, how to say Cheburashka in English.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, I understand. Same thing. When I'm talking about my industry, the marketing arbitrage thing, when I'm talking about it in Russian, I catch myself that I just want to say more English words than necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and some of those words can't even be translatable, so they just adapt them somehow. You know, the things what they use from software and that stuff like Windows and folder and whatever.
Okna.
Like Okna, yeah, it's like only Russian speakers will understand this.
Мой компьютер.
My computer.
Мои документы.
My documents.
Мои файлы.
My files.
Дискета.
CD?
No.
What is that? Disc?
No, the smaller one.
A smaller disc, mini disc, floppy disk.
Floppy disk. Yeah, that is.
Diskette is floppy disk.
Yeah, disketa.
In Latvians, we just call it floppy disks.
Floppy disks. Yeah. Do you have to?
Yeah, and then
floppy disks.
And the pussy comes over. Yeah, that's how we do it. Okay. Fun stuff.
Do you think that people who make jokes about language of a country where they're staying in are dicks? Like there are expats who like live in Indonesia and they're like, oh, have you heard of the word prerenan? It's so stupid.
Prerenan.
That's okay. That's cute.
Yeah.
But when people criticize language just because it doesn't sound like their own, I think it's ignorant. I think this is ignorant and it fits your like kitchen comedy,
right,
you know,
right,
when
right.
it's you and two of your friends.
And it also shows your level of your like personality.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, I agree that if you do use those jokes, it's just between, like, let's say good close friends. But if you do that in a public, and especially with someone who speaks the language, and you make fun of that in kind of, then it's, that's real shitty. Because like, I know how I would feel if someone, because I would have a couple of people I know learn Latvian and they would move to Latvia. And as soon as they would have that the feel of they kind of disrespecting and just like, ugh, what the fuck is this? Is gonna like, fuck off. You know, but if then they're like trying and the pronouncing and like, and it's cute how they mispronounce it and it's cute, that's fun. That's great. I love it because they just try to their best.
Yeah, that's what happens in China a lot. What I've noticed when expat comedian would make some jokes about himself having problems learning Chinese. People love it.
Yeah.
Locals and foreigners who live there for a while, who maybe speak some language or maybe they give up, but like its problem is in you. You cannot learn.
Yeah.
You are basically like the R word.
Yeah.
If you're unable to learn, right?
Right.
But when people are like, oh, the word is like, let's say there is a few Chinese words that sounds like Russian cursing. But if I would have to explain that to Chinese and tell them why it's funny for them it will be weird. Wait, what are you doing? Are you criticizing the language we have for a few thousand years? And same for expats. So I felt myself in China as expat, not as tourist. Of course, after like 2 or 3 years, I live here. I have my permanent stay permit, something, whatever, and I speak the language, and I use some more stuff than tourists use. Like I can go to this facility, I know these kind of places and stuff. And when someone's like, "Oh, this even thank you sounds funny in Chinese," 谢谢, what is that? I feel like, yo, you are exposing yourself. You're not even making a joke. You're just trying to point finger at something. So you're basically the child who is like Chinese kids who see like a black dude for the first time in their life. They would literally shout like, "Wow, how black is he?" And same with like, let's say, Western girls, or even more with the Latino or black girls. Kids would literally shout on the street like, "Look, big ass." They would do it.
Yeah, it just shows the level of...
If you're adult and you're doing this, I think this is kind of a problem of Western comedians in Asia, because they they think of quick laughter. They don't think about how they look like.
Right.
And we have those in Bali as well. They're like, "Oh, that Gojek driver, he didn't know what I'm saying."
Yeah.
Well, because you are saying it in your language. Why you expect him to know? Yeah. There is one comedian who is being deported in China recently because he shouted at taxi driver, and taxi driver saved their video recording and posted it everywhere.
Wow.
Like not like he reported to police. He just started posting it everywhere. Now everyone knows the guy. People hate him offline. People bully him. Yeah.
Well, it's like, listen, don't be a dick to other people.
Right.
It's like, why? There's no excuse.
This is also fair.
Yeah,
but
there's no
there
excuse.
should be balance. There should be like, I think the penalty he's going through right now is a bit too much, because he's getting deported. He lost his job. He's getting separated from his Chinese wife, and he has a lot of hate online. People literally like wish him death because he was shouting at taxi driver.
Right.
Because taxi driver didn't understand him first time.
Right.
Because even though the guy was speaking Chinese, he's like, "No, say it again. I didn't hear." And the guy started shouting. He has a bad day at work. So this is like, okay, give him a penalty for how do you call it? Interrupting social peace or something, like same as you just being disturbing or something. Yeah, but they like very harsh. He's losing stuff. He lived there for a few years, and he's a comedian, so he usually is a very chilled guy in life. Well, but now.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, that's an interesting one in the sense like how like social media can just blow the shit up. From something what is maybe not that big. Yeah. And it's the question if like this happens all the time everywhere, but then it got in the wrong time, wrong place, and someone took the video and then kind of went
and
to
all those people who like take something out of context, those scandals in different countries in last few years, when someone took a piece of a joke and posted it online saying like, "Hey, did he just say what I think he said?"
Yeah.
And then the situation is getting worse and worse. And then this comedian, like people don't have contacts with him for a few weeks.
Right.
This happens. So social media can be good, can be bad. Like we comedians who trying to post something on Instagram, they expect like one of those videos will make like 1 million views. Then I'm getting on Joe Rogan's or on Kill Tony, and that's it. I'm a successful comedian. But it can...
You just mentioned those names. We forgot to talk about it. You almost met Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I thought that because I'm in Austin for a week, I supposed to get on Kill Tony. Even less than a week. I think it was 5 days.
Yeah. So shout out to Kill Tony. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Wait. Kill Tony. So anyways, like I'm gonna, could pause this little, they're never gonna see this shit, but still like, so Kill Tony is massive and they talk about it on Joe Rogan's so many times. And you said like to try to get on Kill Tony is freaking impossible because there's like queue lines and lines and lines of people.
Yeah. And it's not just it's not like if you're in line, then sooner or later you'll get there. There's a chance. Sometimes it's 120 signups, and then they randomly pick you out of the bucket. Sometimes it's over 200. So when I was there, it was 200 something. So
all those 200 people were sitting kind of outside?
No, they are outside.
In the audience?
Just a few of them in the audience, but then you buy a ticket,
right?
And you also sign up,
right? So you couldn't buy the ticket. Was it too expensive?
It was sold out. What?
It was sold out. I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe it could be very expensive. I'm not saying you have no money.
I think it was. I'm not sure about the price, but doesn't matter. I would pay, but it was sold out. I came there a couple days before the event. It was already sold out.
Just you were sitting in your tent outside.
No. In
limo.
No.
What was it?
Milo. No.
Was it избушка на куриные ножки?
Exactly. So there is a bar right next door to the mothership, and people contained there just like during COVID times. And if you're getting picked, then someone's shouting like your name, and then you're going on. Yeah. So I only sign up once.
So the name of Joe Rogan's club is called Mothership.
Mothership. And
how many rooms it has? Is it 2 or 3?
I didn't make it inside. I don't know. I also sign up for open mic, but again, it's so many people want to try that, and people come from everywhere. So maybe I did the farthest way to the mothership.
Right.
Maybe because I was flying there from Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah. So it's 12 hours difference. So it's.
I love how Joe Rogan is so pissed off when he talks about homelessness situation in the United States and stuff. So me and you, we should go and put a tent outside mothership and say, with a big sign on it, Joe Rogan, get us on a mothership to perform. Yeah. Otherwise we're going to camp here for months.
Or we're going to shit all over the place. I know what to eat. I lived in China. I
Especially
know
what goes projectile after it gets digested.
Yeah, you just mix durian with a bit of like pickles.
Yeah, and dragon fruit on top.
Milk.
It goes
dragon fruit from the down there. So yeah. I thought I'll make it. Because sometimes when you desire something too much, you start believing in it. Like
you manifest it.
Come on, I was trying to manifest it. That didn't make it. But I met a few people who later made it there. One of them became kind of opener for Tony Hinchcliffe's tour. She was really great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Her name is Celia Contreras.
Celia Contreras, we love you.
Yeah. A lot of racist, sex, dark jokes.
Latina, is she hot?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
It's very hot. If you're into...
Yeah, Latinas, that's what's up. Big girls. Big girls.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. In China, people would point fingers for sure. Well, they point fingers
on everything. Everything was different.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I met a few really cool people there, and some of them are also good comedians.
Right.
Some people share like, hey, I have a spreadsheet of all the mics in Austin happening this week. I'm like, oh, cool. And so I did eight mics in 5 days.
Yeah.
That's very intense.
That's
same as when I went to Moscow. When COVID just started in China, I went to Moscow. I did mics every day. But the same record, 3 mics a day.
Nice.
Same as.
How do you 3 mics a day?
Some of them are at 6, some of them are at 12.
Oh, okay.
And then you just run.
Some of them are lunch, breakfast.
The weird one was like at 4 or something. Yeah, and it's only comedians, of course, because people work.
Yeah. And people have lives.
yeah, and comedians don't have lives, so they just come and perform in front of each other. Everyone knows each other's jokes.
Yeah.
But that's why I was a bit special, because I'm from outside, and then no one knows me, and then all my jokes were new. So I was one of few comedians who had jokes funny for other comedians. But it's not because I'm so great. It's because they just didn't hear those before.
Yeah. It's very fresh.
And other comedians, they know each other. Let's say there is like 50 local comedians, and there are 2-3 mics a day. Of course, you sometimes hear those jokes.
Nice.
Yeah. So, fuck yeah. Some mics, they were like almost limitless. You can talk for like 10 minutes. Some mics are 1 minute.
What?
Yeah.
1 minute?
1 minute.
What the fuck do you say in 1 minute?
You rehearse your set for Kill Tony because everyone is optimistic. Like
That is crazy,
they're gonna pick me.
Yeah.
They will for sure. Like I was the same.
Have you listened? Have you watched much of Kill Tony?
Yeah, of course.
I've seen a couple of them. I haven't seen much.
The whole. I think about a year. I listen to that all the time.
Where is the place to watch them?
YouTube,
Just YouTube.
for watching, Spotify for listening is the same content. Sometimes I listen and then something is related to appearance of comedian, or they say like this guest or this guy in the audience look like something, and then I have to find this moment on YouTube and watch it.
What do you think about Kill Tony? Do you think they would, how to say, like not prefer, but like they would be more acceptable to those whose English is first language? Like, would that matter? Do you think?
I think if I would emphasize more that I have Russian passport, maybe they will pre-pick me because there is such thing. It's not like official, but people kind of know that out of 10 or 15 comedians who are out of the bucket, some of them are pre-picked. So they did well on Mothership Open Mic.
So you would say you have advantage.
I think
opposite to disadvantage. Because also like they stuff, in my opinion, a little bit is like there's a lot of jokes and sense of humor is like American sense of humor, American jokes, and you have to like be familiar with the culture, the movies, the songs, and that kind of stuff. So someone who is not that familiar with that stuff, would you say that would be a disadvantage with them, or is just like how do you play with it? Like you can,
exactly, because it's not only about your set; it's also about the interview.
Right.
So the set is just 1 minute, but then interview could be a couple minutes if you're boring or slow or being a dick. Or it could be 20 minutes. With some people, they talk for 20 minutes.
And interview is after they've done their set.
Yeah.
Right.
So you do your set, and then like, okay, now let's chat.
Yeah. Fucking 20 minutes to chat on Kill Tony. That's insane.
And I think my advantage would not be having English as second language,
right?
But being Russian, and joking about that, and mocking his own country for starting a conflict, and like. But at the same time, living in Asia. So it's like not like super interesting person, because there are people who starred in some classic movies or who starred in recent like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, or there is a guy who is like wrote some famous song and no one knew how he looked like before. There are some.
Wow, that's like a fucking proper already stars going there.
Yeah. Well, Steve O did a set there, and like sometimes it's some famous person. Sometimes it could be just like,
sick.
Boom, Tom Segura is doing a set, like just whatever.
Fucking Steve-O, that guy.
You met him?
No, I haven't met him. I would love to meet him, but he just looks such a positive character, man. I looked into his fucking his autobiography and his documentary. Like, this kid was just nuts. Do you know how many times they did veneers on his teeth?
How many?
And every time they do the veneers, they basically like sharpen your actual teeth, like they look like spikes.
Yeah.
And like 3 or 4 times, and one of them was like he just did them and then he knocked them out or some shit.
Wow. You get some, you lose some.
Nuts. But I think the craziest one where he was like doing a shark fucking fishing and just putting some meat attached to his speedos and stuff and jumping in the water where sharks are. I'm like, this guy's crazy. Okay, so
would be really great to get there.
It would be.
And my
just manifest it. Just visualize it.
I'm going there again.
Yeah,
maybe in
let's do it.
March or April. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'll come with you.
March, April, something like that.
If I'm not doing a big Hollywood movie where they pay me a lot of money, then I'm coming with you. Let's do that.
Let's go to Austin for maybe 3 weeks or somewhere and go there every Sunday.
And then we need to find where for Joe Rogan does his podcast. And then we just can put a tent outside there.
Camp it. Say, we're waiting. Aren't we invited?
And we could do a podcast outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, Joe, do you want to come join us? We have the latest cigars. We just made themselves.
We have some deer meat.
Some good whiskey. And we can do a cold bath here. You guys, get the fuck out of here. Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't really like Iceman. Yeah.
So
we're going there again. And what I wanted to say, because of those 1 minute mics, I did maybe 2 or 3 1 minute mics, and I was sure in my minute.
Right.
So when I was waiting in this restaurant, Shakespeare's, next to Kill Tony, I was like super sure in my minute. My minute was solid already.
Was
'Cause
solid.
you do, yeah. It's not like here you do 1 or 2 mics a week and you're trying to like jungle around your material and twist something. I did the same thing every time it kills. I'm joking about America and Russia without too much of things people don't know.
Right.
Americans don't know anything about Russia except being enemy. And yeah. So I was joking about that, and every time people understand what I'm saying and they find it funny,
Nice.
and I'm like, okay, I'm going to kill Tony. This minute's gonna kill.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Russia is same as America. Where even our flags are same. It's just blue, white, and red. Blue stands for police brutality, and people love it. And yeah,
Our values.
yeah.
Values of our countries. Like these are the colors. Okay, so in the third part, I also talk and then I ask you the movies, books, and people.
Right.
Obviously, I did not have time to read those books, so I'm not even going to go there. Let's talk about people, and one of the peoples is Joe Rogan for you.
Yeah.
As like, I would say like, I was asking like inspiration, looking up to whatever. So yeah, let's talk about him since we start chatting. So what's up with that?
It's the reason I downloaded Spotify. It's the reason why I know about some people I didn't know before. I'm not a big fan of reading. I'm a bigger fan of listening.
Right.
If people talk, and I like when it's 2 people talking. When it's like when it's audiobooks, or when it's 1 person, or when it's lectures, I find it boring because there is no interaction, there is no questions and answers, there is no arguments. Yeah, which happens on Joe's podcast. And I listened to that for maybe a year or more. And then now I switched to Kill Tony. But still sometimes listen to Joe Rogan again. And I find just things he's interested in, I'm interested in too. So it's like health, wealth, sports, humor.
Aliens, mushrooms.
All the things. Like I did sports most of my life, and I'm still trying to do some.
What sports do you do?
Everything.
All sorts of stuff. Like, well,
different martial arts. I did sambo for like 6
all
years.
right, sick.
I did boxing for a year. I did MMA for a year and a half.
Yeah, you tell
Thai
Joe
boxing.
Rogan that you've done sambo. He's gonna
Invite me.
be like, yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
Because he's a huge fan of sambo. He's like really gives a lot of props to that.
It's funny. I'm not like, I was just sent there by my father, and my father he's not
beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, and my father is not a coach.
Yeah.
To decide which sport I can do, but I just did it for 6 years, and then during high school I only did rollerblading.
Yeah.
So, but then later in university I'm like, okay, Muay Thai, okay, MMA, okay, boxing. So here and there, and then surprisingly in Russia I never did ice bath or like ice swimming,
Even though it was literally invented in Russia. You fucker never did it.
yeah, maybe. And then I started ice bathing in Bali.
Yeah.
And sauna, more intense and more smart.
Right.
Because before I tried sauna a few times, usually it was just chill or like a part of some hotels
Party.
facilities.
Usually it was fucking party. Russian people love to get drunk and smashed in fucking saunas.
Well, that's not the way I did sauna, because I don't drink for many years now. Yeah. So talking about
Anyhow, slowly you said that, like you needed applause.
yes, thank you.
Well done.
It's like if you don't have anything to be proud of, you're proud of your sobriety.
Little achievements.
Yeah.
No, that's a great achievement. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well done.
So we were talking about why I mentioned Joe Rogan. So it's sports, jokes, kind of biohacking. I'm sure after I'm like 45 or 50, I'll get on some juices and stuff. Yeah, so it's this way of life and kind of being very open-minded for theories, for hobbies, for art, for different people, being able to talk to a person whose opinion is very different from yours.
Yeah, that's really good.
Many reasons. And he discovers people who just used to listen to him. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, here you go. There is Elon Musk. Like, maybe you never heard, but that's him. And then here is Dwayne Johnson or whatever. Yeah. It's not like all people have to bring some intellectual value. Some people have to be exposed in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And he's a good media, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I think. Also, outside of comedy and commentating, he's being a media. So it's like, let's say some people used to watch TV, and then whatever TV offers, people just consume it. So I think with Joe Rogan's podcast, it's like he offers you to listen about something, and sometimes it's related to his life, like he's in comedy for 25 years or 30 years or something.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah, sometimes it's about fighting, of course, it's one of main things in his life, but sometimes it's just like scientists or like a doctor or like actor or something else, something less related to him and interesting for people who are outside of that.
Yeah,
and
that's the beauty.
I'm also sure that for many people got into sports and into comedy because of him. So maybe they like him because of his UFC commentary. Then they check his stand-up comedy and like, okay, maybe I can try too. Or maybe it became like a loyal audience of just comedy in general. Or maybe someone liked his comedy and then checked the fighting stuff or like podcast stuff and got into some science. So I like that he's connecting things. It's not that many people who have very different hobbies and being kind of influencer in all of them. In a good way, not influencer who is promoting stuff for discounts and for money and just for his own life, but also just like, hey, this is, I don't know, bow hunting. You guys can check. It can be sport. It can be your way to get food. It can be your way to survive or something.
I think for me, the biggest one about Joe Rogan is that authenticity and just being like honest and simple about these things. And it's like, there's no really hidden agenda. Like, is he making money of it? No, he's doing this stuff. He's talking about his mistakes he's done, or his kind of challenges of doing stuff, like how he would do cold bath. Like, I was freezing in the beginning, but then afterwards I do this. Every morning I do that, just like I would be brushing teeth.
How bad he sucked in comedy first.
Yeah, exactly. Like the comedy, like all these things. So I think it's a kind of almost like this hope, that light in the end of the tunnel, where finally people can just trust to someone, you know, just be like, he's just a simple guy, but because the way he talks, and also like, I just loved how he was kicking ass to the mass media, but you know, when he got that thing about horse dewormers, and that he beat COVID so quick, and then how they try to just create this evil, horrible Joe Rogan who is against the vaccines and all that stuff, and he was just
also being racist.
Yeah, and
like, why would people listen to him?
Yeah, so simply tells like what's up, and this that's what the word is, not mass media, but what is the media, which is like general media. What do you call it? Like TV?
Mainstream media.
Yeah, mainstream media. Here you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So mainstream media tried to dig the hole and bury him.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And like that win, I was just so happy for Joe, and how he just continued, like, you know, fuck you motherfuckers. And then you see that, like, you know, other American and listeners from all over the world, they see that, and they see how, you know, mainstream media is just like being so manipulative and doing all these things. And the best, like how he shows, look, they were wrong. They were wrong. But they never retracted it. They never would go in public and say they were wrong. And like Joe Rogan, like he was showing these examples where he would have a podcast with someone and he did say something, and then he goes back and says, no, you know what, I was wrong. And that, you know, I'm learning here. I'm this dummy who is trying to understand how it works. That's all I do. And that honesty and transparency, and then just being like, I'm just a meathead who likes to smoke weed and just be simple. Like that's like, you know, for him, like if he would run for president, in my opinion, only if they have some kind of evil, whatever, like organizations would go against him, then they could dig him down. But like, he would just win people's like opinion and stuff. People
say the same about Kanye. Like if he goes for president, everyone's voting for him, but not anymore.
No, yeah, but still, I don't know enough about.
If you compare and you're trying to choose the guy who can like manage and being mentally stable.
No, I think Joe Rogan, he's a people's person.
Yeah,
he's a people's man. Like he's there for. Just like, and he obviously he never would go for presidency because he says like it's the craziest job ever for one person to be in charge of all this shit.
Yeah,
like,
and then you're losing everything else.
It's mental.
You lose all your hobbies.
Exactly.
You don't do your
exactly, and
anymore.
he will never do that.
Yeah. What else I wanted to say when you said that he gives hope to people and stuff like that. I think also what's so great is like he's 50 something, right?
53, 54. Finally, we can use the fact check. Yeah, you talk. I will check quickly.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is it gives many people hope that at 50 something you can be still healthy, interesting, be in touch with young people, be in touch with adults, be in touch with seniors. You can be in touch with all generations. You can be healthy and active and just more than healthy. You can
56. Like, he's 56 years old.
Nice. He's just a bit younger than my father. Yeah. My father looks much worse. Yeah. And his mind is just like Soviet. Yeah. So that gives hope for many people. Like life doesn't end when your career is 100%. Over. Life doesn't end when you have kids. You don't have to stop doing things. You don't have to just like work home. Because some people start living this life in early age, in 20 something, and then they never got out. I mean, for many people it's happiness, right? Yeah. But some people, they like again, it's same as with laughing. If you sit alone, you don't allow yourself. So here, if some guys are like in their 40 something and they don't look that great and they maybe don't look some cool hobby, you know, or they have weird hobby for this age, like they skateboard or something. Like, am I allowed to do it? And then you look,
they question that shit.
They question themselves. And if you look at the guy who's like 56 and his hobbies are pretty underground, but he doesn't care, like, say something bad about bow hunting. Okay. And who is a dick now, right? And for many people, it's also good to be allowed to become famous in the late age. Because some people like, oh, I'm 30 now. Why would I do Instagram? I don't have any chance to do anything. Why would I start comedy? Why would I start jiu-jitsu or something? But because of him and people he shows on the podcast, there was some woman who's like 70 something. She got black belt.
Yeah, right? I remember that.
So many stories like this. But I think he's the main influencer for like late 40s and 50s. People that you can keep doing what you like and even progress in it. You can and you should be healthy and happy, even having wife and kids and having your job. You still can be passionate about life. That's another thing. It's not just like you're able to be that. You can be passionate. Like Joe's passionate about his hobbies. Like did you see the Elon Musk?
The recent one? Yeah.
Like
shooting arrow in a fucking
right. You got a car?
Truck.
I got an arrow. Like
and then someone like Elon Musk is like, sure, give it a go. It's like I just love
those people.
You know, it's like they're like kids in their fucking backyard.
Right.
Literally, these kids who come like, hey, listen, I got this fucking cool bicycle, you know, let's do some cool stuff with it.
Yeah, you know, let's build a ramp with a stone and a wood.
Exactly. It's just like, and that is beautiful. Yeah, like when they never...
And you don't have to be young to try new stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan, he emphasized that like, and he says like how great it is to be so shit at the beginning with something. You know, it's like you never tried something, you're so shit at it, but that's the beauty. Yeah. What's the point of
that
like...
makes your brain work.
Yeah, you go on something and you're perfect. Where's the fucking fun?
Exactly. You know, very agree. So many people like, why would I try wakeboarding? I never tried anything like this. Well, that's why. That's why it's interesting. You want to go trampolines? Oh, I break my neck. You will not break your neck.
Yeah, because you can do it like basic stuff. Like this is when I also people see me doing high diving. Okay, from 10 meters, 15 meters, I jump in the water. All they can think of, they think that I just went on 50 meters and just started doing with the back flips and front flips. No, you dumb fuck. I did it from 1 meter, from 3 meters, spec myself all over the place, and then build myself up and build the confidence,
and
the
then
understanding.
Got the suit also.
Sorry?
And then got the suit also.
Exactly.
Protecting your balls.
I had the wetsuit and all that stuff. Yeah. So it's like these things are so important to understand. Like there are baby steps to do, and you can go and you can be safe in pretty much anything. Like anything you can think of nowadays, someone came up with a very safe way to learn from like zero to fucking hero.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When people see like some rollerblading tricks, also like the clip we posted.
Yeah.
So he's doing handstand and splits at the same time.
Yeah,
and
I gotta post the video here. Easy.
Yeah, right here. So people like, oh, I would never do that. I will crack my knees and my back. Well, yeah, you try some simple. I agree with that so much. Same with comedy. Like, oh, I would never go for 400 people audience. Well, no, you go to a bar first. And also it's even less scary if you think about it. It's less scary than rollerblading or cliff diving, because you physically cannot be hurt unless you're just shouting the N-word instead of jokes. You cannot be hurt physically in your comedy. Like I did 240 something shows. Only 2 or 3 times someone came to me like, hey, what do you mean by this? Like aggression is very rare thing in comedy. Yeah. Usually they do it during the show because they want attention, and then nothing happens after. That guy in Bali without a shirt, he tried to get some attention after the show, but it was not aggressive like, hey, I'm gonna punch you or something. Yeah. He started with like, you have to admit it, I helped you. Okay, thank you. Then other people joined and he got his attention, and then it became a bit aggressive. But again, how big is the chance if you try comedy for 1 or 5 or 10 times? How big is the chance you're going to offend someone in your first tries? You're going to be very careful probably.
Well, basically the moral of this story is, and the moral of what we're talking about is, don't just assume the worst. Don't assume that it's not going to work. And it's always just start with a little bit. We just little bit and consistent, little bit and consistent. And then it's get the taste for it, get the feel for it. And that is sports, that is stand-up, that is can be any of these
Traveling.
things.
People see like, oh, you live in Asia, I cannot travel. It's expensive and it's far. Okay, travel to other city first. Then travel to nearby country maybe. Yeah. Just start from something. Like if you admire what we do by performing or by traveling or by sports, like try a bit. You will not admire yourself as much as you admire us because you didn't do it for years. You admire yourself even more because comparing to many years of not doing this is your first time. It's a lot of emotions.
And to understand that everyone has a different journey. Don't try to compare me with anyone else.
Exactly.
You have your journey. Right. I have my journey. When we meet on that path, it's beautiful.
Right.
You know, we met on the comedy path, or afterwards we would see like, oh, you train, you want to get this, you know, the splits or whatever. Oh, I'm there in that path as well, and then we can kind of cross those paths, and I can say, oh, Ondrey, if you do this and this, you're gonna get better in that. And the same thing you can say about comedy. Like when I just performed and I got down and was like, oh, I was in the show, and you said like, oh yeah, but it was good. You maintained the da-da-da-da. It's like oh, that's awesome. So like, meeting these people and these journeys is so important and great, but everyone has their own thing. So it's just totally fun.
We should not we cannot compare my half-year splits practice a couple times a month with your years of acrobatics and gymnastics.
Exactly.
Or some people cannot compare their emotions or their experience of traveling to some nearby country and saying like, yeah, now I'm expat just like you. Well, no, the people speak the same language in this country. You're not out of the system,
and you don't have to be just like me.
And you don't have to be comparing. Same as like people say they get demotivated by fitness people on Instagram. Well, they did it for years. Yeah, you gave up after a week, and they do it for years. That's the difference. That's it. So same with comedy, sports, traveling, or any hobby. I would say
there is something to do probably with that, like. A lot of people still live in that mindset of high school, that when we went to high school, we all started at the same time. In a sense of like, so me and you, we start math at the same time if we study in the same year. And then we supposed to be in the same kind of level. Instead of like all of a sudden, whoa, this guy is here and I'm here. Wait. No, this is not cool. This is not even, or this is not fair competition. And then they're afraid that, oh, I'm so different now from everything what I do, but you didn't do all those things what I did. And there's the other thing what I talked about so many times, and people say, you're so talented. Oh my God, you're so talented. And then I would say like, you know what the biggest talent is for people to succeed anything is to not fucking giving up.
Right,
it's to fucking put the work in. It's to always to show up. It's the patience. That is what is the biggest talent. Because other than that, maybe I would say like when the music sounds there, I feel it goes through my bones. It goes through my rhythm. I just want to move all the time since I was a kid. But still, I would meet in my life people who end up becoming better dancers because no matter what, they were practicing and practicing and practicing, even though naturally they were not as good as I was naturally.
Right.
So boom, you know, so, okay, we have 2 more people to talk about. It was, who was your second person? Third was Artyom. Who was the second? You want me to look it up?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it was Bruce Lee, wasn't it?
Jackie Chan.
Or Jackie Chan. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, Jackie Chan is from childhood, from those movies with Russian voiceovers.
Oh, right,
so
right.
Jackie Chan's
Yeah. That's the best one.
Yeah. So, and then those movies, he was athletic in terms of he can like jump over a car. He was funny, like making funny faces or saying something.
He would do the act outs, a lot of act outs, or the movement. Movement stuff.
So he was a kind of a role model of. It's the same as, in a way, it's like Joe Rogan. It's like funny.
Never heard anyone to compare Jackie Chan with Joe Rogan.
And it's unfair. They should be fucking have a grappling
Did you know
match.
that Joe Rogan is just like Jackie Chan?
Yeah, he can fight and make you laugh.
Yeah.
In a way. So it's like monkey in a good way. In a good way. You're athletic, you're possible to move around, you're possible to protect yourself, and you're able to fight back, you're able to jump over a helicopter without being smashed into pieces. And you're able to make jokes. So it's a role model.
So the versatility. You like the versatility. There's different things, because Jackie Chan is probably from that era was the first and like the only one who could add the humor to it. And I totally agree. Someone who comes from martial arts and doing stunts and whatever, for me, so cool and important that the fight choreography has some kind of a satiric moment, or there's a joke moment. Obviously, it's about telling a story. But if someone is just like, he just beats me up,
like
I'm
Statham. Like, how many people like Statham as a role model, or like, oh, I want to grow up like him? I'm not sure, because he just fights.
He's the bad guy. I mean, like, he's the bad boy, not the bad guy. He's the
like
bad boy.
Him or Bruce Willis or Dwayne Johnson. Wait, Dwayne Johnson became famous in wrestling first. I actually remember him in wrestling.
And Dwayne as well, like Dwayne, and also
he makes jokes.
Yeah, Dwayne, and then I think Dwayne got a lot of big inspiration from Arnie. Arnie, who's like this big super blowing up everyone, but he's, as we earlier discussed, this like have the best freaking phrases and catchy words and all these things. Like, how is it possible? Someone who barely can speak English just have this whole thing going on there. It's just insane.
And
like half of the world is like quoting what he says.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
So I think I like monkeys. I was born in the year of monkey, 92. And I don't believe in like astrology and everything too much, but there is something in monkeys. I like that they're it's a freedom of movement. They can move really
sexual
fast.
expression as well, because they can just, they see the female monkey, they come over, stick it in like nothing is happening, and then just move on.
Okay,
it's true. Come on, you live in Asia how long? You know that it's true. How many videos we've seen that there's one monkey sitting on a car and the other one comes over and this lady's filming, oh, look at these cute monkeys. Yeah. Oh, no, what they're doing.
Yeah. So I like monkeys. And for me, Jackie Chan was the first monkey, and now Joe Rogan is another monkey.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. I will make sure I will cut this out like a very specific way.
Well, I mean, he compares himself to gorilla many times. So it's okay.
No, how he says he caveman. He usually says he's a caveman.
Nah.
Neanderthal.
Caveman didn't speak much, I think.
Joe Rogan listens mainly.
A lot. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have one more person. It's Artyom, who is our comedy buddy, and he's your main comedy fella.
Yes.
Your brother in comedy.
Yeah. So when I came to Bali, I had a bit over a year of comedy experience, and we met here in English Comedy Club. And he just did like 3, 4, 5 shows, and I did a year already, almost 100 shows. So at first he was way less experienced, and he asked my advice many times in the very beginning. But then soon he started catching up pretty fast, and he started trying different styles, like try nerdy comedy, try emotional comedy, try about this, try about that. So he's open for experiments in this art. And that's that's what I like and respect. And we can talk about plans for future in comedy, because for many people, like in Bali or in China, many people don't plan to go anywhere with it. It's just like, well, that's just my hobby. Yeah, that's what I do in the end of the week or something like that. Me and him, we talk about like doing this, doing that, different formats. We did comedy in Russian, comedy in English, improv comedy in Russian, improv comedy in English. We did podcasts a few times. We did talk shows with audience. Then I did States in August, and he's in States now for already a couple months. So I think he spent maybe a month in New York, then a week or two in LA. He says LA is shithole.
Shout out to LA.
Yeah, shout out shithole. My friend didn't like it.
I was there last time like 11 years ago, man, and it was shithole already. Dude, the amount of crazy people you see in the streets, because those are the people who never made as actors or performers, whatever. The nutcase shit you see. My favorite was like, this is my favorite was coming back from, I was working in a club as a dancer, coming back and catching a bus, and see two helicopters like hovering around the petrol station. And down at the petrol station, there's this butt naked dude with a massive mohawk running around the cars and like jumping and sitting on a car like with his bare ass. And people were just standing on the bus stop like, oh, look at this wonderful performance. And then somehow they caught him and then they fucked off. But it was like, no, that place is nuts.
Yeah, so my comedy buddy Artem.
Yeah.
So we wrote a lot of jokes together. We criticize each other a lot in a productive way. So like, this is shit, you should give it up.
Yeah.
There must be some people who will tell you that.
Yeah.
There was many times when, especially in the beginning, when he was trying to write smart jokes, and when you're trying to do smart jokes in Bali, they don't really land. Some people are deep here, but much more people pretend to be deep, right? Because it's Bali. And then they don't really know what you're talking about. So there are a few times when I told him, like, you want to make them laugh or you want to confuse them with how smart you are. And same with me, he would also remind me, like, where we at and what people laugh about. Don't try to... And also we remind each other, don't try to follow, like, okay, you're here, make jokes about that, but also do you.
Yeah.
So we would always...
Find your voice.
Yeah.
Find your voice. Very important.
Yeah.
Did you see like podcasts with Joe Rogan, and it was Carr, what was his? Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr. So Jimmy Carr, like this famous British comedian.
He's coming to Bali.
Is he? Yeah. He's crazy.
December
laugh.
or January.
All that. Yeah. But yeah, the podcast was awesome because they were talking about like how sick it would be to get comedy stand-up in the schools and curriculum, that kids could learn how to find their voice, to find who they are, to, as you said, to do you, to be like, this is me, funny me, or this is my story, you know?
At least public speaking.
At least public speaking, 100%.
Because you don't have to, maybe it's not your thing to make people laugh. Maybe you want to confuse them. Maybe you want to make them think. Maybe you want them to feel nostalgic or sad about something. But at least say something to few people or make them listen.
Right.
That's important.
Because the truth is, like, whoever is naturally a comedian is going to be naturally a comedian. So if we have a group of 20 people who do the class, and all of us has assignment to do a speech, and it's like, and it wouldn't be say like, oh, it can't be funny, whatever. No, just do a speech. What do you think would be a speech? 100% there's going to be a certain amount of people who will be like, oh, I think this is a funny joke. This is a funny joke because I like the way this goes. Because for me, when I did Toastmasters for like almost 10 years.
What?
Yeah, I did Toastmasters. I started in Canada, in Saskatoon. Then I moved to Vancouver. And then I did in London for years. I was competing, doing all that. I did also humoristic speeches. And that's where one of the first times when someone said like, you should do comedy, you know. But I was so afraid and to do it in London because like I have no like these supporting team of people, which is so amazing in Bali. And I did one stand up. I went to this one night and whatever. I fucking bombed so bad. I didn't know that you need to write. I thought you just get on stage and be funny.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I have experience of hosting and emceeing events. Yeah. Like I thought just go on stage and be funny. And I went there like, I did some black jokes, which was not good at all. I was like literally something about, you know, dicks and this and whatever. It was so bad. And then like it kind of killed my confidence. And then when it was in Bali, I was like, you know what? If I'm not doing it here, I'm never going to do it.
All right.
With that whole help and everyone is supporting you. So important because in London, I don't know how many communities are there like this. And as far as I know, it's like cutthroat. Everyone is for themselves and they don't do this kind of stuff when they have buddies and helping each other. Yeah. And it's so huge.
Yeah, here is pretty easy. Expect sometimes when someone is trying to take over comedy clubs or something else. The rest is fine. I would say that it's good to have a lot of comedians. Yeah. Because if you suck for a while, if you suck for like 2 or 3 shows in a row, people would eventually tell you. Yeah. Like audience and comedians. And it's good to have feedback.
100%. How else?
If it's only 5 comedians in some city, they perform all the time. And then they will just have less and less audience and less audience. And they would think, oh, people don't like comedy. No, they don't like you. They don't come to hear about your sad Soviet past.
Okay, so we smashed almost 3 hours. This third one is already an hour or something.
So easy.
So I just want to mention the movies. So it was Men in Black, The Mask, and Bronson or Dog's Island. Bronson. Yeah. So Men in Black. First of all, I worked in the 4th one, which was shit with Chris Hemsworth. Okay. It destroyed the freaking franchise, unfortunately. Yeah. But the first and second, third was first and second definitely was really good.
Yeah. So first is I had it on my on VHS tape. Yeah. So every time I would get sick and stay home instead of going to school,
I have a cramp now.
Did you split today? Of course you did. You're in ours.
I always do it. Oh.
So.
Yeah, go.
So I just watched it for 10 times. I remember phrases from there. I remember them in Russian. So on my VHS tape, Will Smith spoke Russian. He had a pretty white voice. And I remember phrases from there in Russian. And I remember that this movie felt sincere. I don't know how to explain that. It didn't feel extremely commercial like all those Avengers and stuff, and you can easily predict stuff. Yeah. Like maybe half of more of modern movies, if I go there, I predict every second phrase. Yeah. Like you already know, oh, take my blood. I don't know. Yeah. So I would quote Men in Black a lot. And Artyom is laughing at me for this. But I'm like...
No, Men in Black, I could totally agree.
You should let me go. I'm not the last person on earth. There could be war started because of me. War is good. More food for my children. This big cockroach is carrying her up. I don't know if I quoted right in English because I never seen it in English. Yeah, but I watched it in Russian like 20 times maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm pretty sure I watched the first time also in Russian. Because that's the VHS we got in Latvia as well.
Сахар. В воде. Еще.
Ondrey is saying about that.
У тебя кожа повисла. Так хорошо.
Is this better?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Love this movie. Really, honestly love it.
Especially when he pulled it all the way back and it just made...
Is it good now?
Is it good now? Is it better?
Give me sugar. In water.
And the second movie, what was it? It was the Mask.
Oh yeah,
the Mask
because it's Jim Carrey.
Classic, man. Yeah. So good.
It's another monkey I like, Jim Carrey. I didn't see his stand-ups until like last year. I only know him by movies, and he's the cartoon character in 3D in life.
He's a human.
His overacting is perfect for kids to understand what he means. So.
Which is your favorite movie? Oh, sorry, The Mask. Yeah, but
Mask.
So is it out of it? Is The Mask?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Because I was a huge fan of the where he was playing that that ballet with the tutu. He was had that scene. Oh, it was Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah. But yeah, so
It's
different.
great, but I like Mask more because it also has 2 characters.
And the story is beautiful. Like this loser finding a mask, and it
Yeah.
shows who he actually is.
Almost like, what's that guy?
Oh, that guy.
What's his name? Venom.
Yeah.
It's almost same.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Like the concept. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
the
is
concept
cool.
is almost same. Like you can become something super, but this super can can start controlling you if you don't learn how to. So it's like it's about with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
This stuff. But
So it's like an inner ego, inner alter ego.
yeah, trickster.
Yeah.
Trickster. I love this movie.
That's
I will watch it again tonight.
Yeah, we watched it together. No. And the last one was the Bronson. I think I watched it recently. Bronson is the prison guy, the guy who.
Yeah.
That's Tom Hardy.
Yeah. So it's
his performance is insane.
another monkey with less of laughter, more of brutal power.
Serious stuff. Yeah.
But one of big reasons I like this movie is because of music and because of style. So it's not just a story about a brutal guy. It's a lot of style in this movie.
Right.
Very stylish movie. It's on the one side, it's just purely brutal, especially when he's naked and in dirt and fighting them.
Yeah,
it's purely fucking guerrilla. But there is so much style in this movie. Like angles, filming, editing, music. It's like a action movie for hipsters, I would say.
What about when he played the twin brothers? I really like that one.
Which one is that?
Legend. I think it's called Legend, when he plays 2 twin brothers. Where they're a gang and they're 2 brothers and they take over London. It doesn't matter.
Legends of New York?
No. I think it's called Legends. Doesn't really
Then
matter.
I didn't see this one. So
We can talk about this another
Bronson.
time. Anyways, listen, we smashed like good time. Before we get to my last point, let's do some Russian. Let's speak a little bit
Да,
Russian.
наконец-то. Как же ты заебался?
Давай поговорим по-русски. По-русски.
Вот так сразу в первом предложении уже.
А мне сразу первое предложение мой русский такой не очень. Ну вот я пытаюсь. Тем, которые русскоговорящие, которые это видят сейчас, русский это мой второй язык. Вырос в Латвии, но вот мне Андрей помогает с моим русским. А я помогаю с его английским.
Да, пиздец. Помощничек нахуй. Помогаем друг другу. Ёб твою мать. Садимся с тетрадками и давай. Пиши конспект. Правильно говорить педераст.
Предложение. Не, я реально сейчас помогаю.
А как по-русски обязательно ляху задирать, чтобы яйца было видно?
Да. Ну, так,
понял.
Мне...
Русский мой второй язык.
О, шпагат.
Сейчас сядет, блядь, опять. Уёбт.
Вот почему без блядь не можно?
Можно.
Всегда мать-перемать с вами. Русскими.
Ты что, училка?
Да, я вот училка. Я всегда иду, куда иду кушать или что, сижу, и там у меня уши виснут.
Да, согласен.
Немножко я слишком чересчур.
Но это чит-код, чтобы было смешнее.
А русский язык такой красивый язык вообще. Обожаю.
Такой beautiful язык.
Такой, я хочу тебя ночью, я хочу тебя днем.
Нет,
или любое время суток мы хотим тебя втроем. Я хочу тебя.
Без «я хочу тебя» нельзя, что ли? Вот у меня уши вянут.
Не ругался. Я хочу тебя поцеловать.
Нет,
смотри,
сейчас не прокатит. Сейчас, кстати, в России нельзя сказать, что ты мужика хочешь поцеловать. Потому что ввели новую статью пропаганды ЛГБТ.
Не, ну я сказал, что я девушку хочу целовать.
Нет.
Почему нет? Я хочу тебя ночью, хочу тебя днем. Я от девушки пою, не от тебя.
Ладно, тогда.
О, блин.
Но ты в суде будешь оправдываться. Реально, могут посадить.
Да?
Да, за гей-пропаганду.
Вау. Супер в России жить вообще.
Вообще супер.
А я вот сам в России никогда не был в России.
Ни разу не был?
Ни разу не был в России. Реально вырос 60 километров с русского зарубежья. Никогда в России не был.
А какой ближайший город?
Ну, типа, как в России.
Да.
Я не знаю, Москва не очень далеко.
Ну, не 60 километров.
Ну, да, это больше, чем 60. Не знаю, может, там поменьше какие-то города есть.
Возможно. Мы сами не знаем.
Ну, да, я только знаю, есть Москва, Питер, Краснодарск. Что еще там есть?
У нас карты запрещены, нельзя.
Тоже посадят.
Там VPN.
А кто его посадит? Он же памятник.
Вдруг ты на карту смотришь и намотал до Америки. Все, шпион, в тюрьму. Вообще,
Реально.
много чего нельзя.
А ты знаешь, почему самое большое, почему вот я вот не был в Россию, не поехал? Визы. Офигенно трудно визу в Россию получить.
Ну, боимся шпионов.
Типа, то же самое для русских в Европу и вот Латвию тоже очень трудно визу
Ну, сейчас-то
получить.
вообще нереально. Сейчас
Ну,
там уже
щас, да.
закрываются границы, прям сами пункты закрываются. То есть все, этого пункта больше нет. Не то, что
Нет.
не пускаем русских, пункт закрыт. Все, ворот нету, заварили ворота.
Круто.
Да, все бегут.
Хорошая жизнь.
Да, всем рекомендую сейчас вот поехать в Россию и остаться там навсегда.
Отдохнуть.
Отдохнуть, да, от цивилизации, от свободы слова, отдохнуть от интернета. Интернет тоже же, надо VPN, как в Китае.
Да.
Да, Инстаграм,
Ну,
Фейсбук с VPN.
Ну, VPN тоже тут надо, чтобы это
Ну,
хороших
у тебя другой
мультиков
отдых.
смотреть.
Да, знаю я твои мультики.
Ну, не трудно же VPN достать. Как это там?
Да,
типа,
но ты добавляешь одно препятствие, и для многих людей это становится роковым. Вот у меня родители перестали пользоваться Инстаграм, потому что надо VPN. Такие, ой, походу нельзя. Наверное, запрещено, наверное, лучше не надо. То есть, если у людей появляется эта идея, что они боятся своего государства, то это все, до свидания.
Не, ну это
это
вообще...
государство катится в срань, в Северную Корею.
Это вообще... Да, интересные времена. И так что подумаешь, когда-то вот столько стран тоже были в России, как бы Советский Союз и так далее. Потому что Латвия себя очень считала, ну, как мы же, вот. У нас эти все, наша команда хоккейная тоже вот, сколько были русских или даже вот с других Советского Союза стран. И потом, когда распалось это все, у нас очень много русских осталось, вот, которые играли за Латвию, так они вот и играли. И мне кажется, даже наш тренер, не вот этот час, вот перед этим тренер был вот с Советского Союза, когда еще был.
Ну, реально, люди боятся сказать, что им не нравится, но если появляется возможность, то кто-то решается.
Да.
Ну, то есть я ну, тоже не то, чтобы сильно жестко политично выступал в России, но когда я здесь, я могу что-то сказать по каждому пункту, по которому я не согласен. Потому что хотя бы, поскольку я не популярный, небольшое медиа и там все такое, небольшой фолловинг, то ну, вряд ли меня будут травить новичком.
Да.
Хотя много людей, у которых большой фолловинг, и они что-то высказываются, и они потом ездили лечиться в Германию, потому что их травили.
Вау.
Да, ну то есть мы знаем, ну экспаты, допустим, международное сообщество знает, что Навального отравили, да, а таких случаев было вообще-то много, там типа, может быть, 20 за последние 5 лет. А ты думал все время,
что это Бали-Бели, это не Бали-Бели.
Да, слушай, шутки шутками, а один раз после концерта, на котором я что-то высказывался, я поехал домой, у меня началась температура, понос, блевать одновременно. То есть я прям потею, очень сильно жарко, я блюю вверх, сру вниз одновременно. Я нескольким друзьям написал, если я это, то это не я сам.
Вау.
Да. Но, ну, вот все прошло. Это, наверное, был Бали-Бели, потому что, ну, не жестко. Там, знаешь, может быть, часа 2-3, но прям потрясло сильно.
А если тебе просто предупредили?
Что это значит?
Ну, предупредили, да, немножко.
Так не делается. Судя по историям от настоящих оппозиционеров, их травят сразу. Там без, ну, либо предупреждения в устной форме приходят. Типа звонят, говорят, слышь, ты. Либо заткнись, либо ты замолчишь навсегда. И потом человек уже думает, говорить что-то или нет. Если он продолжает говорить, то он рано или поздно отравливается. Случайно. Или выпадает из окна. Так что... Так что не выкладывай, пожалуйста, подкаст Renars.
Как мы так тут поставили, сразу зашли в эту, блин.
Стоило перейти на русский язык, сразу зашла тема смерти.
Такая тема уже зашла сразу.
Да.
Интересно.
Но в целом хорошая страна была.
Была.
Да. Ну, в Москве летом очень хорошо, красиво.
Да.
Представляешь, когда темнеет в 10 вечера?
Да. Ну так, в Латвии тоже, да.
И рассвет в 5.
Да.
Очень короткая ночь. Можно догулять до рассвета легко.
Да, когда поближе идет этому, где середина лета, тогда у нас тоже ночи только 4 часа, а потом день там супер длинный.
Великолепно. Красиво, и не жарко, и не холодно. Ты можешь всю ночь прогулять в футболке, в рубашке. Вот.
Ну все, последняя тема какая-то по-русски, что мы еще можем сказать. Дорогие друзья.
Да.
Дорогие друзья, можешь говорить на русском, но с американским?
Я очень, конечно, могу говорить с именно прибалтийским акцентом, я считаю.
Нет, это не прибалтийский акцент.
А какой вы хотите акцент от меня?
А немножко похоже на...
Немножко американский,
американский,
конечно, мой
лучше.
дорогой
Hamburger, yes. Мои childrenata очень хорошо себя ведут.
Я very good себя feeling today. Я чувствую замечательно, wonderful.
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful.
Мне так уже забывается русский язык. Я в Нью-Йорке же сколько живу.
Я не выступал на русском языке уже больше полгода.
Oh, wow.
Последние полгода только на английском языке. На русском выступал...
эстонский, ты говоришь.
На русском я выступал последний раз. Я выступал на русском, возможно...
Последний раз.
Возможно, в феврале.
Последний, yes.
Да, давненько было дело. Но я уверен, что я могу легко вернуться, ворваться.
Конечно.
Потому что на русском языке иногда выступал так, что я нес материала минут 5-7, выступал минут 20 и просто в слезы. То есть на русском языке я иногда, прям жестко доминировал. То есть вот...
Dominatrix.
Да. На английском в Деусе, может быть, у меня было там 2-3 таких звездные ночи, прям совсем. Вот когда с тем Хеклером и еще несколько таких же было. А на русском таких было прям половина, наверное. Вот.
Круто.
То есть слов больше.
Да, но идея вот такая, что ты знаешь, что на английском языке эти есть самые большие возможности как бы быть большому, да?
Да.
Но вот интересно, сейчас вот в Китае у тебя будет этот контракт, и тогда ты будешь на мандаринском, правильно сказать? На мандаринском?
На китайском, да.
На китайском. Но разве нет мандаринский и катанский?
Кантонский называют кантонским, а китайский называют китайским. То есть, поскольку вот китайский мандарин – это государственный язык. Это язык государства Китай. Поэтому китайский обычно имеется в виду мандарин.
It's like Bahasa Indonesia.
Да. Вот оно называется путунхуа, который значит простой язык. Вот. А кантонский, он типа традиционный, он сложнее.
Да.
Иероглифы сложнее.
А тут вопрос, ты вот хочешь быть большим комиком.
Да, очень.
Один день большим комиком. Not G, комиком.
На английском.
Да, и на английском.
Да.
И вот сейчас, если ты в Китае будешь выступать на ихнем...
Нет, я буду и на английском, и на китайском. На китайском будет, может быть, пару раз open mic и все такое. Это не то, в какую сторону контракт.
Но супер то. Но Китай такой большой, тогда открываются очень большие возможности. Если есть, нету много, но есть эти комики, которые вот в Америке, один там или двое есть, которые тоже на испанском идут и на английском. Испанский для мексиканской публики, и им идет очень хорошо. И как бы открываются всякие такие интересные двери.
Но при этом живут они в Америке.
Да.
Да, вот я не хотел бы в Китае жить.
А, ты не хочешь?
Фишка в том, что там все еще, и я думаю, в ближайшие несколько лет все равно ты, иностранец. И на тебя показывают пальцами, смотрят и комментируют то, что ты здесь находишься, не исходя из того, чего ты достиг, а исходя из того, что ты просто выглядишь по-другому. В Америке в этом плане лучше, что всем пофигу друг на друга, и там будут тебя знать те, кто знают стендап.
Понятно.
В Китае на тебя пялятся все просто так. Вот это даже в больших городах. В Шэньчжэне. Вот в Шэньчжэне 20 миллионов человек. На тебя смотрят просто так. Вот ты белый. И вот без преувеличения будет вот так вот типа.
Да,
вот так. А ты стоишь лицом к ним. Или вот так вот.
Да. В Индии делают то же самое.
И поэтому жить там не хотелось бы прям на постоянке, прямо сесть. Но приезжать иногда очень кайф.
Окей. Понятно. Тогда семью нет. Детей там нет. Тогда надо в Америку
России,
как-нибудь.
В Китае. В Америке тоже не хотелось бы прямо сесть.
А где бы хотелось?
Хотелось бы еще попутешествовать, посмотреть. Еще, знаешь, как в детстве родители говорили, мы еще походим, посмотрим.
Да.
Если что,
вернемся. Потому что я думаю, я бы хотел себе 3-4 места.
То же самое. Да. Вот.
Поехал вот тут, вот приезжаешь на 3-4 месяца.
Да.
Достаточно.
Класс.
Отсерфовал, потренировался, что-то поделал. И потом другое место. Тоже мне хочется холод, мне хочется зиму, мне хочется с сноубордом кататься.
Сноуборд хочется тоже попробовать. Я не пробовал.
Не пробовал никогда?
Я один раз пробовал, в чужой сноуборд встал в своих кроссовках.
Очень хорошие времена живем, когда можешь очень хорошие купить для попы такой протектор. Блин, я без этого учился, моя жопа была вообще синя-белая. И вообще было так, не мог сесть.
Флаг?
Да, не мог сесть, 2 недели. Так отбил свой этот хвост.
Копчик.
Да, копчик вообще, ух. Слушай, надо заканчивать у нас это.
Без проблем.
So the last thing I would like to ask you is what would you say is your bomb of wisdom? What is the wish to maybe a younger version of Ondrey, who's just young guy, doesn't really know what the fuck's going on, where to go, and also maybe a younger version of Ondrey who wants to get into comedy and pursue things what they want to pursue? What would be your kind of I would say wish, maybe recommendation, suggestion?
Just start sooner. Just don't delay so long. Don't wait for so long, because I literally went for open mics for like 50 times before I tried myself. And most of them I felt like I can do better than half of guys there.
50
and it
times
was right.
just watching.
Yeah. Open mics. So I think maybe once or twice I went for paid shows, and the rest was open mics, which suck. People go there like for, as we discussed before, for different reasons. Not all of them even bring jokes. So they suck. And I would just sit through it and I'm like, I can do better.
But never did it.
But later. Yeah, much later. So I would recommend myself to start, I don't know, in university. I already did some public speaking in university. I had no problem like participating in some events or stuff. So I just didn't know it's available. Same as people don't think traveling is available. Same as people think splits are available. They think like, oh, that's somewhere very far.
And someone who is very talented.
Yeah.
It's for someone who is gifted.
Gifted, yeah.
The God-gifted gift.
You always could do handstands, splits, and backflips, right? No, you learned it. So I just didn't know you can learn stand-up comedy. I didn't know there are open mics.
You thought you have to be born with that.
I thought you just... same, you know, this Soviet mentality that people who succeed in something, they probably, their parents did something, or they know someone. Or
they know motherfuckers who know motherfuckers.
Yeah, they sucked someone's dick for this position or for this role or for something like that.
That's what
this
Soviets
mentality
did,
affected me. I think I thought those people who like funny on TV, they just magically appear there. I didn't know you can go open mic, then maybe paid show, maybe big show, maybe open for some big guy. So one of my biggest achievements in comedy is opening for that big guy. 750 people in the audience. And I never had my own headline show. At the same time, I know some people who tour with their faces on poster and never did 200 seats even. The whole COVID, we did those for 200, 300 people sometimes. So we had opportunity. We had opportunity to get this much feedback. Use it all. So the only recommendation for anyone who's thinking about comedy, just start and be ready that you might be not that great. Same as you go for dancing class. First time, you're going to be funny. You're going to be clumsy. You go singing, get ready for cringe. Singing is very cringy.
Yeah, you want to do comedy? Just do your dance floor first time.
do your cringe comedy. Just bear with it. And then you'll find out like, I don't know
why you look like Vanilla Ice a little bit right now.
Ice, baby.
Ice, baby. Listen, this is it, man. Thank you so much for coming over.
Boom.
This was amazing.
Buy crypto.
Blah, blah, blah.
Renars Podcast.